What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Be Better Podcast, episode 10, here with my good friend Josh Franek. Josh, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, man. Nice to see you again, man. Nice to see you. We're just going to jump right in, man. I've been wanting to get you on the podcast for quite some time since I met you initially at your house. I thought that, you're a business owner, you wrestled in high school, you have a background in fitness there. You do a bunch of other cool stuff on the side as well, man. I want to learn a little bit about you. You could give me 1,000-foot view of who you are, just very briefly, I'd say in a minute or two. What is it?
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick recap. Right now, kind of the main things I'm doing right now, car dealership. I operate a car dealership. Got a couple guys on my team. Also doing a lot of trading with brokerage accounts, complex trading, derivative trading. Got my hands in real estate as well. Some other business ventures as well. That's just kind of the start. I'm sure we'll kind of dive into it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, man. I love when people. So I don't know if you've ever read this stat, but like the average millionaire has how many sources of income? 9. Looks like you're well on your way to making it pretty diverse. So I love to see that, man. And I think people don't understand that if you want to make a lot of wealth in this world, you can't just put all your eggs in one basket, right? So it looks like you're an entrepreneur. You have a business. You do some day trading. That's a huge one as well. Real estate. I believe there's only 3 ways in this world anybody ever gets wealthy. 1, either you be your own boss, entrepreneurship. 2, stocks and bonds. 3, real estate. Looks like you're doing all 3.
Yeah, inheritance.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
that's a cheap one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I absolutely agree. That's kind of why I took that path, and they all interest me. So I wanted to definitely do something that I enjoy doing. If we're gonna be doing it for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, you have to, man. I agree with you 100%. I've been in sales my whole career, and like it's been in different industries here and there, but just the sales role, if you will, it's my favorite thing to do. I eat, sleep, and breathe it. I love it. It gets me energized. It's my roller coaster ride, and I love being on it. So let me ask you this: from the very beginning of your work career to now, let's go through that timeline because it's very interesting. So you were a stockbroker, right, for TD Ameritrade, and then moved to Schwab. Tell me a little bit about that. Why'd you get into that? Why'd you chose that profession? And then kind of like why you exited.
Yeah, absolutely. So it all started high school. Graduating high school, you're expected to pick what you do for the rest of your life. I kind of had a rebellious attitude towards life.
Nice.
I didn't want to do what everyone else was doing, which was college, finding a job that I had no clue what I wanted to do whatsoever. So I got into reading more. I actually never really fully read a full book, full nonfiction book outside of high school until I graduated. That's kind of where it started. Started reading some investing books. Like you mentioned earlier, what you consistently see is trading, real estate, and business. So trading really interested me. It's kind of, I didn't want to look at it as the get-rich-quick scheme, but I didn't have to, what they preach, you don't have to trade time for money, you don't have to break your back, swinging a hammer. So that's kind of how I got down that line. So I started just reading a bunch into that. I really started finding a lot of success whenever I was, I went to college. My parents, huge supporters of mine. After the first year of college, though, it wasn't for me. So I dropped out. They still supported me, but they're like, hey, you need to get into the workforce.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah. So, I had the 9-to-5 jobs that everyone goes to, but I wanted something more. So I started, I had this disposable money now because I have a full-time job. I don't have college tuition.
Right.
I would buy and sell cars and bikes on the side. That's kind of how I got my start. So I kind of used that as my side hustle. So I started buying books, paying for courses, mentorship, just learning the ropes. That got me into foreign exchange.
Nice.
Foreign
Forex?
exchange.
Yeah, of course. I made some money in Forex.
Yeah.
Guess who, whenever Ukraine invaded Russia, guess who called their guy and said, I want to buy $100,000 worth of fucking Russian rubles? And they told me no.
Who's that?
Me.
Oh.
They told me no. I said, I want to buy $100,000 in Russian currency, which was like 10 grand US. Yeah. I said, I want to buy 100,000 in Russian rubles. Why? Because it was tanking, okay? And it's going to bounce back eventually. Russia's a superpower, right? It might be in the shitter for the next 5 years, but dude, eventually, it's going to be, even if come on, if I made 14% on like average, right? 9 to 14%, if I made that, it would be worth it. So, but they told me no. They said, nope, sorry, you can't buy any Russian money.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
there's a lot of sanctions and stuff, so that's
bastards.
Above all our pay grades, man. Government level.
Oh yeah, but sorry, go ahead. Yeah, so you started with Forex.
No, you're good. So that's where I started. Did a little bit of proprietary trading. So basically, you're trading for a firm's money, and they give you percentages. Just learning. Wasn't doing the best. Still kept on learning. Eventually, met the right people. Knew someone who knew someone who knew someone who actually was high up in a firm, and he said, "Hey, I like everything you're saying. Why haven't you tried this yet?" It's like, I didn't go to school for it. And he's like, I could put in a word. If we can get you in, you could pass your series test. I think we can get you the job. So that's kind of how that all started. So then while I was doing that, I learned so much through the firm. Kind of opened my eye on how finance and investing actually works.
Yeah.
And how you can actually get your money to start working for you. So the whole time I was still doing the buying cars, buying street bikes is kind of my thing, riding them, flipping them. And that's when the dealership came into play. I'm like, you know what? I think I want to get my dealer's license.
Yeah, go legit.
Yep. So, that started. That's 3 years ago is whenever I opened that. I was still working at the firm. So I was doing that. And then at that point, I decided, this was last year. I was like, all right, I'm going to take the leap of faith. It's time to run the business full time. Did it smart. I, took a break at the firm, a leave of absence essentially, and couldn't make it. So perfect. Fell back to my safety net. And then, this year again, I was a one-man show. This year, I got some of my friends, met up with some other people that wanted to be a part, got them on the business. Ever since I got them on, the dealership has taken off.
Man.
So I can't complain with any of it.
Dude, I'm sitting here, and I've only met you a couple times, man. I've said I know you super well, but I'm sitting here, man, like, the fire inside of me is burning with, like, I'm grinning into ear to ear right now, man, because I look at you and I just figure out, I sit here and I'm saying, dude, this guy, he took the leap of faith, man, it's paying off. And, like, you don't understand how happy that makes me, who also is in a similar boat, and seeing somebody who didn't know shit about anything about it 5 years ago, busted their ass, read the books, did the mentorship, did the courses, met the people. Your net worth is your network. 100 fucking %.
I say the same thing, man.
100 fucking %, man. And I have been blessed to meet some guys who figured it out too, and they're really wealthy, and they've shown me the ropes. So I'm looking at you, man, like, fuck, dude. I'm so proud and so happy to see the success, dude, because it feeds, right? So, like, your success feeds off to all your other people, the guys you have working for you, right? It's trickle-down economics in that regard, man. Like, you're letting those guys eat at your table, but at the same time, they're building their own table. I mean, dude, like, I'm super pumped for you, man. And we're at the very beginning of this podcast, so this might sound like an ending statement, but it's not. But I just cannot wait to see how your journey progresses, dude. And I can, even if I'm on the sidelines, I cannot fucking wait to see how far you go, dude. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And just like, we were talking earlier, actually, I'm a firm believer in you get what you put out.
Always.
So the universe reciprocates what you put into it. So if you're out here and you're helping your fellow man, helping them grow, build their business, promote, be supportive, you're gonna get that back. Your life's gonna change. If you're negative, hating on this, hating on that, the universe is gonna give you hate. I promise you that. I've seen it firsthand.
Well, it's true, man. And to a certain extent, karma is real in that regard, right? And even though I believe in my own religious preferences, like, I will say energy is a real thing, right? People say the vibes and energies. Your vibrations, your frequencies, your energies you put out, man, like, it's a real fucking thing. You ever, like, been into I'm sure you have. When you were in the office, right? When I worked in the office, somebody comes in, the fucking dog dies, they get a flat tire on the way here, and the wife's cheating on him with the janitor. You feel that rain cloud come in, right? And it just sucks the energy out of the room. And now everybody's miserable for the next fucking hour or so, right? Yep. You get that guy that comes through, a good buddy of mine, Ryan McNabb, older brother to me, love him to death. That guy has just been nothing but positive. He's just always positive. The dude could have his back against the wall and, be on his last leg. Positive guy. He's like, I'm going to fucking do this. He's just can-do attitude. You got somebody like that walks through, everybody feeds off of it, and everybody thrives off of it too. It just, I agree with you tenfold, man. It's fucking wild how that works out.
I mean, that's exactly how our paths merged.
Yeah, it's true, actually.
We both are hungry for the next step, and we realize that networking with like-minded people will get us to the next step. It's exactly how we merged.
That's very true. I mean, I thought about that a little bit this morning too. Just you ever believe? I read a quote one time, and it was like, "You are exactly where you're supposed to be at any given moment." I read that one time, and I was like, "That's very interesting, man." Like, every decision I've ever made in my 27 years has led me to this moment. Same with you in your 25 years, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, right, like, you know, those can be big moments or little moments, right? But they're moments, and you're there for a reason, right? So to go back to what you said, dude, like, you know, I just love the vibration and the energy that you're putting off here. Our paths are crossed for a certain reason, man. I hope we blow that up to whatever is in the cards there. But dude, even if it doesn't happen, I'm super fucking pumped for you, man. I love seeing young bucks like yourself, dude, coming out here and just like wanting to go after it and taking it by the horns, dude, and just getting it. Like, it makes me fucking amped up, dude.
Yeah, no, and
I'm so excited.
I appreciate it. Yeah, just like we were talking earlier, you're educating me on all kinds of aspects of my business that I was missing. The more tech side of things.
Yeah.
The back office stuff, all the stuff to manage, you know, everyone on my team, and you're just mind blowing. I'm like, how did I not know this already?
Dude, you will never. But like, here's the thing: you never know unless you talk to somebody, dude. Because like nobody teaches you this willingly. Like, you know, on the podcast a couple weeks ago, we talked about like education and how fucked that is, right? Like, you were telling me your story about how what you did is identical to mine, right? I was like a BC student in high school. I didn't really have any problems. I just didn't care. It was all boring to me, right? And then after high school, I had my rebellious phase, like, you know, just doing dumb shit as kids do. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do either, right? And I went to college. I went to Wildwood Community College for a year. And I was just in there, I'm like, this is all bullshit. I'm like, I am never going to be a biologist. Why am I doing this? Why am I wasting money and time on learning about how the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell again, for the second time? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me, right? History classes were cool. The math class, I mean, once again, I'm never going to be a mathematician. I'm never going to be an engineer. Nothing I'm ever going to do is going to require me to use these algorithms and these formulas. It makes no sense to me, right? So I dropped out and I started working. It's the best thing I've ever decided to make because I make more money than anybody in that fucking college does.
Yeah,
and
look at you now.
Yeah, I mean, it pays off in tenfold, and I'm super happy about it. But I like seeing somebody like you who literally had the same fucking path, and it's worked out, you know. And it's just it's solely because, in my opinion, drive and ambition, dude. We didn't get lucky, right? You know, we didn't get lucky. It's our drive and ambition, and that's why you're kicking ass where you are, and that's why some people like us do what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you're saying. How many times have people said to you, I'm sure you've heard this plenty of times, must be nice.
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay, what also must be nice is going to bed at 8 o'clock at night, not staying up till 2 a.m., not having to wake up at 5:30. That must be nice. Being able to binge watch TV shows. I can't tell you the last TV show I've ever watched. I don't watch. I read. I read and I try to grind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be nice, you know, being lazy all day.
You know what people tell me? It's like, they're always more like, oh man, you're pretty lucky. You're pretty lucky. I go, you know what's funny, man? And Pitbull said this, and I was like, that's so true. I go, the harder I work, the luckier I get. It's fucking weird how that works out, man.
Yeah.
It's really fucking weird how that works out. Now, I do it smarter, right? Like, I'm not a nose to the grindstone kind of guy where, like, I'm not up till 4 a.m. working hard, man. I work really smarter, right? So, like, if I see a problem in front of me, I'm not looking, like, let's say I had a boulder blocking my driveway, right? And I need to park my car in the driveway. I'm not going to go out there and swing a fucking pickaxe for 15 days until it's broken up. No, I'm going to go find some dynamite and blow the motherfucker up.
Yeah.
I don't need to work hard. I need to work smarter, right? Killing yourself working hard doesn't fucking do anything if it takes you longer when you could have took a shortcut, right? And I mean a shortcut like an actual shortcut, not like cheating, right? I mean, if there's a better way, take the better way. You know,
right.
Don't double your workload for no reason. But to your point, you know, the people like you that are, you know, blazing your trail, maybe that's the only way, right? If that's the only way, fucking do it, you know? But for me, like, you know, I read quite a bit, but I also do a lot of audiobooks too, which has been like a life changer for me. After high school, man, dude, I'm 27. I didn't probably pick up a book until I was probably about 24, 25. Really? And I finished 11 books this year.
Good for you.
And I never in my life thought, like in high school, I read maybe 3 books, like the ones you're supposed to, of Mice and Men, fucking another one, and then fucking one of the Shakespeare's.
Yeah, something in English class.
Yeah, something in English class, exactly.
Not applicable to any life.
Cool stories, but like, once again, doesn't, you know, it's not my cup of tea. But yeah, dude, so I love seeing the similarities there. What I find is interesting too, we were talking about education a little bit ago. Dude, I've learned more from the books that I've read than any institution or teacher or textbook has ever told me. You know?
Oh, 100%.
I'm reading a book right now called My Own Personal MBA. You ever heard of that before?
I have not heard of that.
It's this guy that's talking about what we talked about, and he like got accepted into these big name school like Harvard, I think, or Yale or something. And you know, he was like basically like, why the fuck am I going to put myself in $500,000 debt to get an MBA when I can just go out there and learn everything and just not have a diploma? Like, what's the difference, right? If I know the same knowledge as the guy that has his MBA, the only difference between us is that he has a piece of paper and $500K in debt, and I've already been working, and my net worth is higher.
Yeah.
So,
Same skill set.
Yeah, and I'm going to hire the janitor who's been doing his job for 20 years over the prick with a fucking piece of paper any day of the week.
I think that's where the tables are turning in society. You know, it used to be go to college. You have to go to college. I'm not saying college is bad, depending on what industry you're going into. But an easy one, business. Why are you going to college for business? Pay a mentor. Pay a mentor that's done it.
Dude, do an internship at somebody. Like, you know, find some. Everybody knows somebody who owns a business. Everybody. And it doesn't matter if your uncle owns a painting company that he only does maybe 6 jobs a month, or if your uncle's the CEO of fucking Walmart and you can mentee or internship with him. Like, learn how the business works that way, dude. It's going to pay off a lot more than fucking getting us. Now, if you're going to be a doctor or an engineer or a dentist or a lawyer, yeah, man, go to college. That's fantastic. That's how you get those skills. That's how you learn that knowledge. Mm-hmm. I love that. Go for it. But if you're going to get a business degree, a communications degree, fuck's sake, man, just go and get an internship somewhere. Find a mentor who dominates in that category. That's how we do it. You know, that's the real life hack, honestly.
Absolutely. Yeah, just like, you know, what you're doing. IT, you know, I know back for sure when we were in high school, you know, if you wanted to go into IT, you needed to go to college. That's at least what counselors said.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, older we get, the more I realize, why were we taking advice from those, unless we want to be high school counselors, why are we taking advice from them?
Well, because they're incentivized by the state to say that, because the state gets push-offs of money from taxpayers and educational institutions. That's why. Because their workload, they're indoctrined to say that. I'm not trying to sound conspiratorial, but it's true. Like, any teacher that ever told you to go to college is because they're getting paid by the same state. Or, you know, essentially, right? And the teachers union, the same fucking shit, dude. They're pushing education on kids. And I'm not ever knocking education, but there's a big difference between education and intelligence. I like to think of myself as a decently intelligent man. I didn't do that well in high school. It didn't apply to me. I didn't really care about it. It made no fucking sense. I was like, dude, why am I learning how to play the recorder? I don't want to play this recorder. It doesn't matter to me. But then why do we enter the workforce and not know how to pay taxes? Why do we not know anything about stocks and bonds? Why do we not know anything about real estate?
Exactly. They don't want that.
No, they don't.
They want to churn out workers.
Yeah, they want to fucking get cogs for the machines, man. You know, that they don't want us building their own machines. That's always how I felt, man. And it just made no sense to me ever. It's a joke.
Yeah, it's... You're spot on that for sure.
Yeah, but you're breaking down the walls, man. That's how we get back, right? People like you and me who are, you know, especially you because you're hitting all 3 of those categories. But being an entrepreneur, buying and selling, trading on your own accord, and then, you know, real estate. Like, you're breaking down the barriers, man. And that's how you do it.
And yeah, I mean, you were just talking to me earlier, you know, we're helping out the next generation now too. You were already talking about consulting. I just started that with my dealership. I just signed on 2 mentees just a couple weeks ago. You know, they came up to me. They want to learn the ropes. For one, they want to make money. I have structures and stuff that I laid out, contracts showing every possible way they can make money. And 2, they told me, they're like, yeah, I want to open up my own. And they were hinting at that whenever I was meeting with them. And I asked them, I brought up the question, like, are you wanting to open up your own? And they're like, well, I'm like, just to clear the air, I don't care. I'm like, if you want to open up your own, I can help you.
Yeah, unless you're going to buy the building next door, why the fuck would you care?
Even then, man, it's a different game. And, you know, if you network properly, it doesn't have to be competition.
No, it's referrals. It's partnership.
Yeah. And their whole demeanor changed. They're like, wait, really? Because I do want to open up. I'm like, let me teach you. And then that's how I got them signed on. I'm like, you know, this is how we have to help out people. You know, you don't help them by, hey, I'm in control. This is what you do. You know, I try to run a democracy.
Always.
I like to, you know, I give all my guys my utmost respect, and I like to think they give it right back, and I'm pretty sure they do.
You know what I like about small businesses like that, man? Is like when I walk into the room, I don't like knowing who the owner is. That's how you know it's a good business, dude. When anybody there could be the owner, Like, you know he's treating his employees right and fair. My old boss told me, Nate, you should be gunning for my job. And I go, what do you mean? His name was Dan Conway. Genius of a man. This is when I worked in retail. I was like 19. He goes, Nate, you should be gunning for my job. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you should be gunning for my job. He's like, you should be trying to take my job. Because I'm trying to take my boss's job, and they're trying to take their boss's job, and they're trying to take their boss's job all the way to the fucking top. And he's like, there's helping hands along the way, right? And there's synergy along the way. It's never like, oh, I'm going to make up a lie that this guy, stole a bunch of shit from the store and get him fired. It's like, it's like, I'm such a good leader that I'm developing a team underneath me of leaders, and then we all just grow together in progression. And ever since that, I believe that firmly, man. Like, it's never been like the people that I work with. It's never been like oh, Nate's in charge, fuck you. It's hey, man, like, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. You know information that I don't. Share with me what you don't, and how can we make it work together? And that's how businesses blow up, man. It's all about collaboration.
Yep.
It's all about collaboration.
Building off each other's success. More than one head at a certain problem at hand.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's different perspectives, dude. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been in a situation where, like, I might know a lot about a certain subject, and then, like, somebody from an outside perspective just says, well, what if you tried this? And I'm like, fuck, man, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Genius. Like, that's perfect. And then what happens? The problem gets solved.
Or it takes you down a whole different rabbit hole. Just that one thing alone kind of, you were thinking in this aspect, and now you're like, wait, hold on a second. Takes you deep down, and yeah, watch what happens.
It's crazy, man, how things can unfold like that. But let's get back on track. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I say this on all the podcasts, man. We're gonna have these rants when we just get off. We just go on a tangent. So that's a good one. So we did that one. So sorry to the audience, but just deal with it, I guess. But so let's get back on track. So you started your career as a stockbroker, right?
Yep.
Could you? Like I told you earlier, man, I've always had this like romanticized dream of being a broker, and then going up to junior broker, and then going to be an actual trader, and making my way up that corporate ladder in some New York office. That's always been like a romanticized thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's really not that luxurious on the inside. I'm sure it's a lot of nitty gritty, hard work. Kind of break me down like a day to day. Like when you get in there at 9, what's it look like till 5 o'clock?
So, what they don't tell you is it's not like the movies anymore.
I believe that.
That's why I wanted to get into it. That looked a lot more fun on the movies. It is not like that. Trying to think of the best way to put this. It's a lot more customer service oriented than you think. Even when you're right, you're not right. And I experienced it from when I started to whenever I left. It was, at first, I'll just give you an example. I was broker first, and then I went up to a trader, which is kind of like your more advanced broker.
Sure.
So, someone buys this stock, and now this stock goes down in price, moves against them. Okay, as long as you're confident in what you say, you have your license, as long as you're not, doing anything that's going to put you at risk of being fined for giving them bad information or saying something incorrect or something that they may trade off of that will make them lose. As long as you're giving them solid fact, you could be like, sir, ma'am, the reason why this happened is because of X, Y, Z. And then you could stand behind that. The longer I started working in there, the more it started getting to where they catered towards people's feelings. You have to remove feelings from all aspect.
Yeah.
And then it would turn into, okay, well, now you're right, but instead of being right, you have to basically just apologize and try to empathize with them, and you can't just tell them fact.
Yeah. Like, hey, dude, you're a fucking idiot for pulling your money out. You should have waited.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get it.
On a lesser, yeah. So it's not like that anymore. You go in and you're essentially nowadays, if you're a stockbroker, you're an order taker. Someone comes up, you can't tell them, you can't give them any advice.
You're just a clerk.
Yeah, you're a clerk. Hey, I want to buy this. Cool. How many shares? How much money you want to do? Before it was, you can kind of dive in. Okay, Nate, why do you want this? like can give you some insight. Oh, I think it's going to, a bunch of people are going to buy this stock, high volatility. Okay, say you're doing a different strategy, not just buying. That would be my job as a trader to kind of dive in and be like, okay, well, why are we doing this? Because economically, what you told me, it doesn't make so much sense to do this because this is completely opposite of what you're telling me.
Yeah, so it's a contradiction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just a lot of that. I just felt like I lost control. Not that I wanted control, but I just felt like another number. They didn't care what I had to say, even when I was right. I'd get in trouble for, trying to help people out. Like, hey, I see you're about to make a mistake. I'm not about to say, no, don't do this, but I'm going to hit you with facts on why I think you shouldn't, as my fiduciary responsibility that, whenever I was trained, they told me I had that empowerment. So I just kind of lost my empowerment. Like I said, you're just an order taker, essentially. And, ever since I got with the new firm, they pretty much, gave me even less. I didn't have any empowerment at all. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of seeing these people making, they're probably dumping in $1 million into their accounts, and they're telling me they need help. I'll just do this on my own. So that was kind of the biggest thing. But yeah, retail traders would be guys like you and I.
Yeah.
Way different than institutional banks, governments.
Yep.
Us retail guys, I would say your best bet is to educate yourself. There's a lot of good education out there, and I'm a big believer in finding a mentor, finding someone to show you the ropes. I'm a big believer in every aspect of business that I do. That's how you are gonna be successful.
Yeah, same here. Somebody's already did the hard work for you, man. Just learn from 'em. Like, why repeat the same mistakes when somebody's already did it? Like they've already know. Hey, don't step here. There's a landmine.
Right.
Right. Like, why not? Why would you not listen? Right. If I know a guy, if I'm walking through a fucking landmine field and this guy walks his path every day and he knows turn left of this tree, don't step over this rock, jump over this creek, dude, I'm not just gonna I'm gonna listen to him. I'm gonna follow his path. I'm not just gonna walk through the landmine field. So actually, going back to what you said about that sounds really unique to me because it sounds very unadvantageous for them in the long run. I'm sure there's a reason why they do that, but if I'm a customer and I call you, Josh, hey, I have $1 million liquid. I need you to buy as many shares of Disney as you can. I think it's going to blow up. They have a new movie coming out. And you said, hey, hold on, Nate. Hold your horses. I would love to do this for you, sir, but are you open to suggestions? I'd say, hey, Josh, go ahead. Tell me what you got. I think you should put your money in fucking Kodak, whatever the fuck, Kodak, because they're coming out with a new camera. It's see-through, it's holographic, and it can print things right to the wall. That's coming out next month. Is there any way you'd be open to maybe even putting some of that money towards that, right? And then let's say Disney doesn't do what I want it to do, but Kodak blows up. I make a shit ton of money, right? Your firm makes a shit ton of money because they get a commission off that. They get a draw off that, right? So I don't understand why they would push them like that instead of building the trust. Because now what happens? Let's say I get another $1 million. Who's the first person I'm calling? I'm calling Josh at TD.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking calling Joe Blow. I'm talking to the guy that just made me a bunch of money that I trust, that his input kicked ass. So that's weird that they pushed it that way. I wonder why.
Just I guess to give you a little bit more insight. So that's pretty far off from how it works. You got the title. You're a stockbroker. That's entry level, man. Like you cannot. You say that, here comes a fine. You said what you said. There comes a fine.
No shit.
You cannot. Yeah, you're basically you say that customer trades on Kodak, and say they have a loss. That loss is now on you because you gave them advice or suggestion that made them trade off it, and now they lost. So that's where fines come into place.
But that's weird though, because let's say that's public information, right? It's not insider that way. Like you don't have an uncle that works for Kodak or something. Let's say that was just in an article you read that morning. Like they could have also read that article and had that same idea. That's why I think it's weird that you could be fined for that.
You have to walk the line. So let me give you a better example. So based off of what you said, say you're on. Did you say Disney and Kodak?
Yeah, Disney. And I only say that because I just went there. I would never buy Disney stock. I'm not Disney.
Sure. So you would need to position it something like this. So I'd be like, all right, Nate, what's your objective? Growth. You trying to make are you trying to play an earnings play? Like, what are you trying to do? You tell me, all right, I think, obviously I want to buy and then sell, buy low, sell high, so go long is what they call it.
Yeah.
Yep, and you want to make money off a capital gain is what they call that, buying low, sell high.
Sure. Run of the mill.
Yep. So I would say something, and you're like, oh, I want Disney. I don't want nothing to do with Kodak, though, or maybe I'm on the fence. You could say something along the lines of, hey, I just found a news article, and this says, 2 days ago, they are talking about replacing the CEO of Kodak. That may or may not, fluctuate the price and change the sentiment and who's buying and who's selling. Kind of leave it as open, like, this is what I found, this is where I found it, the ball is now in your court. If you make money, if you lose money, firms don't care about it anymore. Most of the firms, as of about 4 years ago, they're going to zero fees. So their discount brokerages is pretty much what it started and pretty much the trend that every firm's going to. They'll still have commissions on derivative products, options, futures, stuff like that for the most part. But yeah, it's not the same anymore. If they do lose money, the only bad side, like the brokers don't make money. When I first started, we had a structure that if per trade we placed, we would get a percentage of it. It was via bonus. After a year and a half in that, they cut that out.
Someone was making too much money.
Yeah, it didn't matter if I charged my broker commission or if I didn't, and I wouldn't get in trouble. I could waive every single one. They almost encouraged me to, but I used to get bonused on it, so I kind of had it, the salesman mentality.
You're incentivized to do it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's just not the case. It's the biggest thing is for firms now. It's assets under management. If your customer now loses money, now your firm has less assets under management.
Yeah.
It's all about how much money you can control.
Fuck, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's terrifying that you just said that to me. That is. By the way, I know the CEO of Kodak. By the way.
Do you really?
Yeah, Jim Continenzi is a good guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But anyways, I've never met him physically. I've only talked to him on the phone a couple times and like via Teams and stuff. He for a company I worked for 3 years. He was the co-CEO of that. So that's why I know him. He was CEO of Kodak, and then he was also the CEO of our company too. Fucking sweet guy. But anyways,
wow.
That makes sense why the asset under management is kind of more of a play, right? Because you get companies like Vanguard and BlackRock who have like $10 trillion under asset management.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what their fucking customers are making. It matters how much money they control at the end of the day. Because they work the same way as a bank, right? I mean, like if I put $15K in a bank, that $15K is just not sitting in a vault. It's spent by the time I get to my car, in investments and assets. So they're doing the same fucking thing. So, excuse me. God damn it, that makes so much sense. I hate that. I hate that you just told me that. It makes so much sense, though.
Yeah, your money's in the bank. As soon as it's there, they're investing it.
Oh, it's gone.
The only thing on your mobile banking app, that's a we owe you.
Yeah. That's a we guarantee up to $250K. I went to the bank 2 months ago. I withdrew $10,000. I was just moving money in different accounts. And the bank was like, oh, we don't have $10,000. I go, what do you mean? I go, you don't have $10,000 in this fucking bank? I said, I gave you guys $10,000 cash when I deposited. Where's that at? Oh, no, if you want to take over, $4,000 out, we have a special request. It takes 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, no, it doesn't. I said, give me my fucking $10,000. I'm like, you guys are out of your fucking mind. I'm like, give me my $10,000. And I guess
cashier's check.
Well, I guess I took every $100 bill out of that fucking bank. It was hilarious. They were making the bank manager came out and talked to me, and he's like, "Sir, we just don't typically hand $10,000 out." I go, "That's fantastic." I go, "I don't care what you typically do, sir. I'm pulling all my money out of this account, and I don't want wire transfers. I want the cash. I want the hard value cash."
Mm-hmm. The green money.
Yeah, I want the actual physical cash. I want to smell it. I want to touch it. I want to sleep with it. Let me do what I want with it. It's my money, right?
Yeah.
And this guy looked at me like I was nuts. Like I had a third head. I was like, what the fuck? Or second head, excuse me. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, anyways, but yeah, so banks are evil.
That's any bank, though.
Yeah, any bank.
I buy and sell cars. This is kind of my gig.
Yeah.
I constantly have to call up, a couple days in advance. If I'm about to buy a $50,000 car, and this person wants cash, some people don't want checks. I just got to roll the punches.
Yeah.
If that's what they want, then that's the car I want. That's how I have to have it. I have to call them. They'll have to call their other branches. Who knows where else they have to pull it from. But they have to, put in an order for me to get that bulk amount.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But if you win the positive $50K cash, they take it. They wouldn't say, "Hey, sir, hold on. We can't take all this right now. You have to drop 10,000 off of this branch, 10,000 off of that branch, 15,000 off of that branch, and then bring out the rest of us." They wouldn't say that.
Pros and cons. I mean, for me, you know, a lot of people are a little different. People are like, "Oh, I want money in the safe." I'm like, no, I want money in that bank.
Yeah.
You know, I doubt there's going to be a bank run again anytime soon. I mean, who knows? But
Well, you're still insured up 250K by the FDIC, so it doesn't matter. I mean, if you just have, like, that's what millionaires do, man. Like, they don't have just one account that has $300 million in it. They have hundreds of accounts in different investment firms and things like that. Their money's in, so they're protected, right? If that bank failed, their money's still insured, it's still protected. If somebody robbed the fucking place, you know, it's not like they're gonna go belly up and, you know, that my money's gonna come back to them. But I agree with you, man. I'm not a mattress money guy. You know, there's not any hard money in my possession as of right now because I always put it back to work. You know, I always invest it somewhere, or it's working for me, or it's sitting in a high yield savings account or something. But I don't believe in that guy who has 100K in a fucking mattress. You know, it's just losing value actually while it's sitting there. You're just
100%.
You might as well take a $100 bill out of that stack every day and just throw it away.
Yeah, inflation will tear you apart with that.
Oh yeah,
You're a smart man, making your money work for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I appreciate you giving me that 1,000-foot view on being a stockbroker and how that market works. I changed my mind. I would never want to be in that industry. That sounds absolutely brutal, and it sounds very unfair to you, to the work.
Yeah, it's like I said. I just do day trading now. I'm much happier. I'm in control of all of my money. You know, I'm the person that I have to answer to. If I lose money, it's my money. If I make money, I make it.
Right.
I don't have someone yelling at me, saying, "Hey, you shouldn't have done this." It's my money.
But nobody's negating your decisions either, right? So, like, you know, you're a day trader. I mean, if you have a good whim or a good intuition, or you read an article about something, you can do it. And, you know, there's no cons to that. You can't get fined for just making your own decision in that regard. So I appreciate you taking, you know, that into your own freedom and your own accord and making it happen. I mean, that's a humongous step, man. So did you start day trading first, or was the dealership first?
So day trading is the most recent one.
Okay.
Just like we mentioned earlier, there's rules. You got to know the rules. If not, you're going to put yourself in a bind and you'll blow up your account. You hear people all the time blowing up accounts. If you don't know what you're doing and you're not strategic, I tell people, you know, you can go to the boat. You might have better odds there.
Yeah, put it all in black.
What's the difference between, you know, we were kind of talking about it before. Just different stocks. Oh, I got a tip or a hint. Is that tip good enough for you? Is there a probability? Is there a statistic behind that tip? If there's not, dude, you can go to the boat, man. You can play baccarat, and that's 50-50.
It's funny that real quick, side note, it's funny, like, you call it the boat.
Yeah.
Only people from Missouri call it the boat, dude.
Do they really?
Yeah, I've met thousands of people from other states. Nobody ever calls it a casino. The boat is a casino. And the reason why we Missourians and St. Louis, especially St. Louis people, call it boats, do you know why?
Because all of ours have to be on the river.
Have to be on water, yeah. Because there's a law in Missouri where if you own a casino or gambling operation above a certain square footage, I believe it is, it has to be touching a body of water. So that's why we call it the boat.
Makes sense.
I
thought that was nationwide, but
I'm pretty sure it's just in Missouri because there's no water touching Las Vegas.
Yeah, I never put much thought into it. Yeah, I know all Missouri.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
then there's the gray area that build it on a sandbar. Like, all right.
Well, look at Hollywood Casino.
Yeah, it's like on the sandbar.
Yeah, it's on a sandbar.
Yeah.
Maristar, same deal. I mean, like they have like their back parking lot touching the river barely, I guess. But the Casino Queen, like that was a boat, wasn't it? Until they made it into a building. Wasn't that actually a boat?
Yeah, I think it's a building now.
It is a building now. I just went there for the first time this year for my bachelor party. What a fucking dump that place is. But
is it really?
Yeah,
I've never been to that one.
I've never been until that moment. But yeah, I think it was a boat, an actual boat, and then they moved it to the building, and then the boat's still there or something. So that's why they get away with it. That's why we call. Anyways, sorry, another tangent. That's why we call it the boat. So for all those, because there's people out there that are like, what the fuck are they talking about? So yeah, the boat is a casino in Missouri, and it might be in other states, but it might not be. I don't know. I just know here. You know, I've only gambled in two places in this world, Missouri and Mexico, and I fucking slayed in Mexico.
Really?
Oh yeah, I killed it down in Mexico, dude.
Huh.
They hated me.
Rack up all the pesos.
Oh my god, dude. So they had sports betting down there, And this is when we went last year, and the Blues were playing against the Avalanche in the playoffs. Listen, I'm not even a Blues fan. I'm from here, but I'm not a Blues fan. I'm a Devils fan, so fuck the Blues anyways.
Ooh.
But, dude, I've been on the Avalanche. Avalanche kicked their ass. I was like, oh, mucho dinero. And then, so that paid out, and then we're playing blackjack down there, and Mexican dealers, dude, they're sharks. Like, it's so cool. They're fucking sharks and killers down there at the tables, man. These girls, they're all gorgeous, 10 out of 10s, but they're super sharp, and they know how to play the games. So,
Are they helping you?
No,
dealers?
no, they're helping the casino because they get,
Really?
they're like, at our casino in America, like, the dealer will help you because they want a tip, right? That's great. I'm all for the dealer being on my side. Dude, in Mexico, these dealers were on the casino side, dude. They didn't give a fuck.
They're just like saying like you should hit when you shouldn't hit. And
Well, they weren't giving me bad advice, but like they just weren't. I can't really describe it, man. It was just like their demeanor was like, I don't know, do what you want. Like let's say I had like a soft 15, right, and the dealer was showing a 6, right?
Yeah.
You probably hit that, right? Because you got to assume they have a face card. Well, let's say I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm not a perfect blackjack player by any means, but I know what I'm doing a little bit. Let's say I asked them for help. If I'm in America, they would be like, well, the book says X, right?
Perfect strategy.
Perfect strategy says. In Mexico, they'd be like, I don't know, you mean you can do what you want kind of deal. And I was like, but anyways, I had good luck that night. I've been to, I don't gamble often, maybe, I don't know, twice, 3 times a year, but there's been nights where I've walked out of there empty-handed, and there's been nights where I've walked out of there, $4,000 or $5,000. It happens. But in Mexico, we had a really good run. We killed it. We fucking killed it.
That's awesome. I love to hear.
What I get scared though when I see is when we're in Mexico, we're at the normal table. There's like a low table, a normal table, and then there's like a high roller. And the high roller in Mexico is different than the high roller in the United States. High roller in the United States is like $100 minimums, something like that, like in Missouri at least. Dude, this was like 10 grand minimum.
Oh
and this guy's sitting there, white guy in a fucking suit, probably some CEO or something, or maybe inheritance money, like you said earlier, whatever.
Cartel,
Who knows, man? Who knows, man? Whatever. I don't judge people on their income. Whatever works for them, as long as they do it, ethically, not legally, ethically. Because all the roads in Mexico are paved by the cartel, so the cartel are not bad people.
I like that. I never heard it said like that.
As long as it's ethically.
Yeah.
Which maybe they don't fall in that category. I don't know, but I'm not a cartel expert.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but so this guy, he's losing. I mean, he's getting raped. He's just losing hand after hand after hand. And I'm looking over there, I'm counting the chips. I'm like, fuck, this dude's paying $15,000 a hand. And he's just getting fucking killed. And he just like, it didn't even faze him. I was like, man, I want to be that guy. I was like, lose 85 grand in 15 minutes, dude, and just walk home like nothing happened.
These are fun coupons, right?
Yeah, these are fun coupons, man. Like,
yeah.
You know what we call these? Fun coupons.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's what got me started down the wanting to do trading.
I think I'm in the same boat, man.
It ain't like that though.
Have you ever seen The Boiler Room?
I have not. I know all about The Boiler Room. I have watched The Big Short. The Big Short's pretty good.
Yeah.
They're not that bad movies. It's just not really what.
Well, Hollywood sizes it, right? I mean, it's romanticized of reality, right? Like you always see, like in movies, the construction worker. He's all buff and he's fucking yoked and he does a hard day's work as a true American. You see the average construction worker dude, he's got a beer gut, fucking hair growing out of his fucking nose. He's just a normal dude.
Yeah.
So I get it, man. Hollywood makes movies like that for a reason, and they do that in every industry. Not every fucking cop is a chiseled, beautiful Squidward face. And not every stockbroker is some coke addict wild man who's making billions. It's just not reality. That's what
You'll like this fact actually. This blew my mind whenever I got on the floor. I would probably say 90% of the licensed brokers actually has their series license.
7? Is that what it is? Series 7?
7 is the main one you have to have, and then other ones have like 63, 66. But
nice.
Yeah, that's kind of the bare minimum is at least 7. I'd say 90% of them doesn't and has never traded their own stock. Not even a single one. Doesn't even have money in their brokerage.
Huh.
Blew my mind how like hardly no one that shouldn't have the advantage trades. I was just mind blown. I'd talk to people and be like, "Oh yeah, what are you trading?" They're like, "Nothing." Like you have money anywhere? They're like, "No."
Well, let me ask you: do you think the CEO of a tobacco company smokes?
Absolutely not. McDonald's CEO doesn't
Think he
eat
eats
McDonald's.
You think he eats McDonald's? No, man. Do you think the CEO of Coca-Cola drinks Coca-Cola?
I agree with that 100%, but this is a little bit different. I think it's just think they're underpaid. They're basically, people think they're a lot smarter than they are. Man, I talked to, like, whenever I was a trader, my job was, a lot of brokers would call me like, hey, I don't know how this works. And some of it's like, I would have to ask them, be like, you have your 7? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God.
This is like elementary.
This is, yeah, I mean, I knew this before. I was like, this is scary that you don't know this. Yeah, just a broker. I mean, it's a big title, but like, yeah, they don't really know. Some of them are smarter than others.
Well, I get it. I mean, even in your car industry, right? How many times you've been to a dealership to buy a car and you realize the guy that's selling you a car has no fucking clue what he's talking about?
Yeah, it doesn't even.
It does happen, right? Unfortunately, I've been to see a doctor a couple times I have a disease called EOE, and it's basically like my esophagus will just restrict sometimes, and like it's really hard for me to eat a piece like drink, or I couldn't even like eat a piece of corn, like it would get stuck here, right? So I went to this one doctor for checkup, and the guy had no fucking clue what he was talking about, and like misdiagnosed me, and like he could have killed me. I had a whim, second opinion. Went to another doctor, and he was like, "Oh fuck no, we can't do that, dude. That could kill you. We'll do this," and it's helped the problem a lot. So like, it's in every industry, dude. It's just scary when it gets to like people handling your money, which could be X amount of sum, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if a guy loses $10, I mean, hey, whatever, dude. But like, if a guy loses $10,000, hey, that's a pretty big chunk of change missing, you know. Right. Or if somebody like me dies because the doctor doesn't know what they're doing.
It's kind of funny how you compared it. You compared it of your money versus your health.
It's the same thing.
It's the
same thing.
People take it seriously.
I take it serious. I'm not even joking. That's not satire. My money is my fucking lifeline. It's my blood. You can't do dick in this world without money. I hate to say it, dude. Like, my goal is to like have 500 acres somewhere and like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath fucking cabin, and just never talk to anybody again. That's my goal. How can I get there? It's money.
You have to have your money. No, I get you, man. I'd have to talk to people all the time, and they're hot off a loss, and I'm the first person they get to vent to, and I'd have to let them, some of these long-winded people, just let them burn out, and be like, all right, so, like me, get it, sucks, sorry, but
move on.
I'm here to help you, so let me show you how we cannot do that again.
Yeah, and then you have to be careful, apparently, because you'll get fined if you fucking help them too much.
You just got to make sure your facts are right.
Oh, that's so terrible, man. That's so terrible.
Yeah, I'm like not the best day trader yet. That's a skill that you really gotta work on.
Emphasize on that word. Yet.
Yes, exactly. I'm persistent.
You gotta be.
But I do have a shit ton of market knowledge. I could run laps around most people. Just explain them. Hey, this is how the market works. Historically, this is typically what people done. Just actual outright facts. Nothing that would sway someone wrong way or right way. It's just historically, this is how this works. This is what this means. This is what you would typically want to see if this is your objective.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I appreciate that insight, man, because that's huge. And I think you're going to be fucking killer at it, man. You have the background. Not only do you have a background where you've worked it, you've eat, sleep, and breathe it, you practice what you preach, but you're reading about it, you're doing things that, are basically what I call anti-complacent. I mean, people think they figured it out, they get complacent, and then everything fucking fucks up. Like, there's always new things to be learning in whatever field, right? I don't care if you whittle fucking, birdhouses out of wood. There's always something new to learn, right? So the fact that you're proactive in that regard, I mean, that you're just positioning yourself to be successful. At this point, dude, you don't have another choice. You're going to be successful because you did all the work, essentially. And you're still doing the work. So I love that, dude. But that's scary, man. That's fucking scary.
Yeah.
Never in my life did I think that the world of stockbroking was like that. Never in my life.
Yeah, more you know.
What a wash.
Like what you were saying too, man. I forget the analogy you gave. It's something about sharpening your knife.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I was dull on one side of my blade, and you just came and honed me up.
Yeah, and likewise, you and I are hungry for knowledge. Even though we may have had achievements, we're happy we're not satisfied.
Oh, dude, I'm never satisfied, dude. I hate to say that, and it's not like my American consumerism that is feeding me. It's just my want to be successful. Like, I don't care if I was the richest man in the world. I would not be satisfied. I'd be like, okay, great. Now, how can I be the richest person of all time? Okay. Now, let's say that happens. Okay. I'd be like, okay, now how can I secure my spot that nobody will ever surpass my income? That's the levels that it takes, right? And yeah, dude, that song by the Rolling Stones, "Can't Get No Satisfaction," that might have been playing when I was born, dude. Like I am never satisfied, dude. I killed 2 deer last weekend. I'm going out tomorrow. I'm never fucking satisfied, dude.
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool.
I am never satisfied ever.
That's good. That's why you've gotten where you've gotten, in my opinion. People that cap out, that's when you burn out, and that's whenever you don't get to the heights that you want to be at. You reach this goal, and then now what? What's next?
I watched a video today. Do you like sports?
I'm more of a bandwagon.
Oh, okay.
But I do like sports. It's just I don't get all into the stats and.
Okay, so do you know what Gilbert Arenas was? Excuse me.
I do not know.
So he was a basketball player in the late '90s, early 2000s. He played for the Kings and he played for the Wizards. Pretty good player, dude. They called him Agent Zero because his number was 0. Dude was fucking sweet, man. I watched a video of him today, and he's worth like $150 million. Had a very good career. Spent his money right. Endorsements, a whole 9 yards. Put his money to work for him. So he probably makes more now than what he did playing basketball. And they asked him, like, so hey man, you're worth $100 million. You retire at 32. What does your life look like for Gilbert Arenas? And he goes, I'm fucking miserable. He goes, I am fucking miserable. Because why? He doesn't have anything to do. He got complacent. He has nothing to do. He kicked ass at basketball, but he retired, and now he's just like he's nothing. He's a shadow of his former self in that regard, right? He's a great dude, right? Fucking solid dude. I love Gilbert Arenas. I think he's a great guy. But like I said, like you said, he got complacent, and now he's just miserable. He still has the money, which is cool, but he's a hollow shell essentially.
Well, I'll add to the other side of that because that's interesting because I didn't know his story. But Elon Musk, Elon Musk. So I would say
he's one of my heroes, by the way.
Dude, me as well. I love Elon.
I study astrophysics all the time, so I'm like I get a hard on for Elon Musk.
You and I could have some real good conversations about the universe and space. I'm the same one. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
But he's same thing. Had super successful career, but is still doing it. Whereas your basketball player was successful and then stopped. Elon is still going. There was an interview, and he said it under his breath, but people caught it and pointed out. He's trying to take humanity, interplanetary. Yeah. He's trying to make the human species survive because it's on the course right now to where it's not looking good.
Yeah, we're fucked.
And they said something, you're trying to do all this stuff. I think they were hinting at, like, who's going to take over, like, who do you have next in line if something were to happen to you, like, if you were to die. And just under his breath, he's like, that'd be a relief. He's like, wow. If you could push yourself too hard to where, I think he's so wrapped up, he's almost not happy.
He's definitely not happy, dude, but, like, that guy is going to go down, and I love Elon Musk a lot. He's going to go down in history as the most, like, revolutionary, impactful human being that's ever lived, besides probably, like, Jesus Christ, right? Like,
right.
That dude is literally single-handedly saving our planet. None of the governments are doing shit. They never have been. They never will be. They don't give a fuck.
They're consulting him.
Yeah, Elon Musk literally has everything a guy could want. He's the richest man in America. Well, flip-flops between, Jeff Bezos, whatever, and Bernard or not, who's rich on paper. But anyways, dude, like, Elon Musk started SpaceX, which is the only fucking, basically, I don't want to call it a rocket company. I'm drawing aerospace engineering. I'm sorry, just called the rocket company. Aerospace engineering company that has ever successfully landed a rocket vertically. Okay, like it's a reusable rocket. Dude, listen, we've only had planes for like 115 years, dude, and this guy just fucking broke the third wall into this dimension, right? So he does that. Okay.
Non-government, by the way.
Non-government funded, yeah. It's private money. Public, yeah, exactly.
Private.
But dude, listen, everything in this world is better when it's not government funded. Private funding is always better. Always better. But anyways, he did that, right? He's making some crazy astrophysics breakthroughs, right? Just crazy fucking shit, okay? He wants to terraform Mars. Probably will do it. We don't know. Then he's like, damn, traffic in LA sucks. What can I do? The boring company. I'm just going to dig a fucking tunnel and put a fucking super train on there, and it's going to make everything easier, right? He goes, cars are pretty inefficient. I bet I can make one better. Makes Teslas.
Yeah. They're
fucking killers, dude. Like, he sees problems, dude, and he solves them. He's a visionary. He's a game changer, dude. The guy is a wizard. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm just honored to even live in the same timeline as that guy.
Yeah.
Like, so
I like other people that like Elon because I love him too.
he's a
Everything he
genius,
does.
dude.
Yeah.
And I believe he's one of the smartest people who's ever lived. And you know what's good about him is that he's slightly autistic, so he doesn't have that like emotional connection to things. It either makes sense for him or it doesn't make sense for him. And I love that. Like, people with autism, they can either be like really, really intelligent, or they could be, they could have a lot of issues and complications. So that's why it's such a crazy deal, right? And I don't know anybody personally like in my family that has autism or anything like that. But the deal with him is that he has a slight form of it, and it just made him uber intelligent, and he's got no connection. Does this solve the problem? Yes or no? Fuck everything else.
He's kind of savage too.
He is a savage. He's ruthless, dude. He's ruthless. You ever heard the Joe Rogan bit where he's on there and he's like, Joe Rogan shares a tweet that he did, and it was the emoji of Bill Gates when he was pregnant.
Oh,
and then he goes, fastest way to lose a boner.
Dude, he does all kinds of stuff. I forget who he did. Someone else said something about him. So he made his like cover photo or whatever, and he like commented on it, and he's like, why does it look like you're trying to go poo poo or something? Like just, dude, I love the little jabs. Like when you're at that level, you could say it. You don't got to worry about.
He did something else too. I think it was with Facebook. Because he has so much influence. Like his word can fuck up a stock. So he said something negative about Facebook, and he's like, "Watch me tweet this, and your stock drops 50 points." And it did. I can't remember if it was Facebook or something else, but it was another. He did it, and what happened? Fucking stock just dropped tremendously.
Yeah, he had an interview a few months ago, and they were asked, they're like, "Aren't you concerned if what you say may drop your companies like Tesla, your share value?" And he sat there, he's like, "No." He's like, "I just really want to say what I want to say." He's like, "I could care less about money." He just kind of laughed.
He's got so much, dude. Like he could lose like $1 billion a day, and still be wealthy for 300 days. Literally.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
He could lose $10 million a day for the rest of his life and still have a couple billion left over.
And look what he's doing, man.
Yeah, he's doing great things, man. I'm happy. So before we jump back to the business stuff, I want to pick your brain a little bit. What got you interested in space?
Now I have to think about that one. A couple of my buddies, obviously, it would be someone like you, and now that I know you do, I'd be like, "Hey, I've heard about this. Isn't this crazy?" I feel like it was kind of recent. I can't really pinpoint exactly what happened. It's just something, man, going out there, looking up in the sky, and you're just like what does this mean? And then the fact that it's so big, and we've just estimated how big. I think it's something about just human nature wanting to know answers, and humans don't like having an open circuit. They like closed circuit. They like answers, and that's just something that has bugged me. I would just love to know that answer. So hearing anything and then finding out how stuff actually works, gravity and just stuff like that. It's just mind blowing. They didn't really touch on that in school. This is interesting.
Why would they? They're pushing an agenda, dude.
Yeah.
They're pushing an agenda. They don't want people like us to think openly and creatively like that, dude. They don't want that. They want us to go fucking work in a warehouse. And not knocking warehouse workers because you guys are the backbone of this company or country. But they want us to work these mindless jobs, dude, and never progress. That's why they don't teach you like that. They don't want you looking up. They want you looking down.
Yeah, like that movie.
Yeah, Don't Look Up. Great fucking movie.
I love that movie. I thought it was gonna be stupid.
Fucking movie.
I thought it was gonna be stupid, and
Dude,
then I watched it. And I watched it 3 times.
Let me tell you something. I've watched that probably 3. It's a 2.5 hour movie, so you got to take it. I've watched it probably 3 or 4 times. Same deal. I will tell you right now that if we were ever in that situation as a planet, that is exactly how it would go down. That is fucking exactly what the governments would do. That is exactly how the public will react because we're so polarized and divisive on everything, right? You have white shoes on right now, okay?
I have one.
Right? Maybe somebody thinks it's a different color of white. Maybe they're like, "Oh, dude, that's not white, it's pearl." Now we're fucking arguing about that, right? I agree with you. That movie was a game changer. Have you ever heard? All right, real quick.
I got all the time in the world.
3 things on space, and then we're gonna go back.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of time dilation?
Yes.
Okay.
That is tricky.
Do you understand it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I would like to think I know more than
the average man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a cousin, lives in Tennessee. He's one of the smartest men I've ever met in my life. He is a fucking super genius. This dude's done a lot of edibles, a lot of trips acids, a lot of shrooms, but he's a fucking genius, okay? Top of his class. He went to New York University for neuroscience. This guy's a fucking wizard, dude. And he explained this to me. Because I thought I knew a lot of things, dude. This guy puts me to shame. I like to think I'm a decent, intelligent person, like I said earlier. This guy makes me look like a fucking single-cell organism, dude. This guy's a monster. So anyways, he tells me about time dilation. He goes, we're drinking, this is years ago, we're drinking one night at they have a big mansion in Nashville they live in, or outside Nashville. And he goes, you don't even understand how the world works, dude. I go, fuck you, dude, what do you mean? I'm like, I understand this fucking thing works. What are you talking about, dude? He explains to me what time dilation is, and I go, oh my God.
Did you know that before this? Or did he educate you on
He educated me.
Okay.
And ever since then, this is probably 4 or 5 years ago, ever since then I've just been doing constant research about it and learning more about it, because there's new theories that pop up on it all the time, right?
Yeah.
So the time dilation, for all those out there who don't know what it is, it's basically like time is a perception, right? Time is not real, obviously, we know that. Time is perception. So I always use this as an example, right? Do you remember when you were like 5 years old? When's your birthday?
April.
Okay, mine's in March. Cool. What day in April?
23rd.
Oh, mine's 29th. Nice, dude. Cool. All right, so we're on the same bracket, right, of the year, okay? Do you remember at 5 years old how long it seemed from your birthday to Christmas?
Yeah.
It seemed like a decade, didn't it? It seemed like forever, right? Or like a school year, right? It seemed like it would go on forever, right? Now, dude, my birthday's in March. I feel like we just celebrated my birthday yesterday, like 2 weeks ago. That's what it feels like, 2 weeks ago, right?
You're saying the older you get, the faster?
It does, and that's true because of perception, right? So whenever we were going from, April or March to December, that's 1/5 of our life that we have to experience in order to get there. So our perception, right? 1/5 of a piece of pie is humongous. Okay, that's a big portion of the pie. If I'm 98 years old, my slither of the pie has now went from this to this.
I see what you're
So
saying.
although it's the same amount of time, right, it's still going around the sun 365, 366 days, depending on the year, right? There's still 24 hours in a day, roughly, right?
Yeah.
Your perception is different because you're experiencing 1/98th instead of 1/5.
Huh.
So as we get older, time dilation shows us that time actually does go by quicker.
I have never heard it explained like that, but that's great.
Is your fucking mind blown, dude?
I'm mind blown from that one. I've heard it. I was kind of mind blown learning time dilation from GPS.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
just the distance from here to the satellites that are just in our orbit.
Yeah.
They have to factor in a fraction of
The rotation of the Earth.
Yeah, they have to factor in some sort of fraction of a second. Otherwise, your GPS would
You'd be
take
hundreds
you
of
off a
miles
cliff.
off.
Yeah.
You'd be hundreds of miles off. There's actually, crazy enough, this is way before, but like, so back in the day, sailors used to use what's called a sextant. You know what that is?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I'm not.
It looks like the inside of a clock, but it's not. But basically, a sextant is what they would use to position themselves at Polaris, which is the North Star, and then they could figure out where the horizon line is. They could figure out where the other line is. I'm not an expert at this, so I don't know, but this is what I know they did. And they would tell them where they are in the world, and then they could figure out which direction they need to go based on the star. Okay, dude. If they made, there's plenty of stories out there, dude. Where like, and I'm pretty sure that's how Columbus found America. He his navigator was off by like an inch in the sky, and it was like 600 miles due north or something, or due west, or something like that, or south. So like, it's just crazy. Like the GPS thing is wild, but yeah, man, it's fucking nuts, dude.
I mean, for people that are watching this that don't know time dilation, I'm not sure if everyone's watched this movie, but it just came out. Disney movie, Buzz Lightyear. It's a perfect explanation of time dilation.
I never saw that.
You ever watched it?
No, but Interstellar does it. Interstellar talks about it. I mean,
Interstellar is a lot harder to grasp. This is for
yeah,
kids.
it is.
Yeah, Interstellar, you got to really focus on that. It took me a couple watches to
same
start
deal.
understanding Interstellar.
I had to watch that probably 3 or 4 times so I really understood like what the fuck, like how a year in our time could be 54 years somewhere else. So let me ask you this. Here's my second part of the question, right?
Yeah.
Do you think so? Time's man-made, okay?
Mm-hmm.
As we know, dogs don't know time, whatever. Do you think that there is basically a point of origin for time? It's got to be somewhere, right?
I don't even know how to answer that question.
But
honestly.
think about it, right? It has to be somewhere, right? So, like, for example, 1 year here is 9 years on Pluto, okay?
Okay.
and that's based on the rotation of the sun. Okay, that's based on the rotation because the sun is rotating around another object, and that object is rotating around another object because gravity, right?
Yeah.
All the way to where? The center of the Milky Way. Okay. Now you see the center of the Milky Way rotates in the same spiral axis, right? And that's why we're actually merging with Andromeda Galaxy, which we'll get. Everything's gonna be fucked up in like 5 trillion years, whatever. We won't be here anyways, but we probably won't be here in 40 years, to be honest with you. But the whole deal. Knock on wood.
There you go.
I'll only be 67, so that's kind of young. But anyways, so everything's rotating in an axis, right? There's got to be a center point of the universe, dude, where time has an origin, where everything stems from.
So, I'm just touch on that. You're saying it's rotating on an axis, which is you're right.
So the universe rotates like this. Everything rotates based on gravity, right?
But you're actually thinking of it from a 3D perspective, though.
Oh fuck, you're right.
Think of it from a 4D perspective.
Yeah.
Just like our solar system alone, the sun is not in the center, and the planets are this. It's actually like a spiral.
It's a whirlpool. Yeah. It's a helix. It's a helix.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're right. I am thinking it as a
3D.
From 3D. You're right. And so, but that goes to my point, though, right? There has to be a center of that helix somewhere. That everything is like when you flush a toilet, right? And it goes down like that. What's that? What's the part of the bottom where the whirlpool starts?
Yeah,
that's where time originates from, right? That would be ground zero.
There have to be a beginning.
Yes.
Big Bang is kind of what you're getting at.
Right.
Shit, yeah, I don't know.
But that has to be the origin of time.
It would make sense, but I also, anytime I talk to my other buddies that like talking about, astrophysics and stuff, I'd be like, that's what we assume to think with our tiny monkey brains.
Yeah. We have no clue.
Who do we know? Yeah.
We have no clue.
I watch a lot of Joe Rogan, which is
love Rogan too, yeah.
Super happy to be on your show, man, because I see you getting to that level at some point.
Oh, I appreciate that, dude.
But
Joe's fucking sweet.
Joe is awesome, man. He has all kinds of good topics. He had someone on there, and they were talking about the difference between like our intelligence and a primate, like a monkey. He's like, it's 1%. He's like, the 1%. He's like, what if there was an intelligent alien species that was 1% above us?
So you're talking about when he had the Asian guy, Dr. Michu. He was talking about type 1 civilizations, type 2 civilizations, type 3 civilizations.
It could have been. I watch a lot of like shorts of it. I don't sit and watch the whole thing. So it could have been him. It could have been Neil deGrasse. It could have been.
Oh yeah, it could have been him too.
Brian Cox. It could have been.
Love Brian Cox.
All good guys, but yeah, he's pretty much saying like that's like if we had an alien civilization 1% higher in intelligence than us, that's like them or us. Us going up to a monkey and be like, oh wow, they can actually put blocks in these things. And
yeah, it's like a million years of evolution, he said. Yeah. Like that 1% is like a million years of evolution, which is fucking crazy to think about, dude.
Yeah, and he's like, that would be like them, having their toddlers knowing calculus.
Yeah.
And most humans don't really know calculus.
No, God no. You're right.
Yeah.
Last thing about space.
Yep.
So I have this idea, and you need to tell me what you think about it.
Okay.
So I've actually tried to I have this software where like I can get anybody's email. I don't want to talk about it, but like, I could literally get you Bill Gates' email if you want it right now, like literally, right? So like I have this software that has everybody who's ever registered with a domain's email. I can get you their email address and their name, obviously.
Can you get me off some email lists?
I can do whatever you want, yeah, 100%. We talk about
really?
it. Yeah, I'm dead fucking serious. I'm dead serious. Cool. I can set you up with the technology, and I'll teach you how to do it, and you do it yourself. Don't pay me to do it. It'd take me 2 hours to teach you, and then it would pay off in dividends for you for the rest of your life. But anyways,
okay.
And then you use a marketing campaign with the drip on it, and you hit them 3-4 times. I'll show you. But anyways, so I thought about I tried to email Elon Musk this a couple times. So the hardest part about interstellar travel is like how you like getting there, right? Like the actual movement of the object. Okay.
Yeah.
So solar sails, yes, but they're not very durable, right? All that good shit, right? So rockets now don't make a lot of sense because it's just short-term use. When you're up there, you have a limited supply of fuel. Okay, are you familiar with how perpetual motion works?
Are you starting to get into warp drive?
No. I don't know anything about that. That's fucking.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
So perpetual motion is an object that creates energy by itself and keeps the same energy, right? So energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred. Okay, right? So perpetual motion means an object that will constantly move without any help. from anything else. It recycles the same energy.
Like fusion almost?
Almost like fusion. But I thought about this. This is going to sound crazy. For all these people watching, just bear with me for fucking 5 minutes. This is just an idea. This is like a fever dream idea I had. So imagine this. You know how magnets work?
Yeah.
Okay.
North Pole, South Pole.
Exactly, right? So like what happens when you switch the polarity on magnets? They push away from each other. Why can't I get like some massive fucking magnets like 50 feet across, spin them very high at a high velocity, right? That's going to take initial power, okay? So let's say we have a motor that gets this thing to, let's say, like 5,000 RPMs, okay? We have the other side of it, another turbine with the other polarity rotating counterclockwise. This one's running clockwise, right? Why would that not push the object?
So, I mean, exactly what you're referring to. So, look up warp drive. It's almost identical to what you're saying, but a
That
little
sounds
bit.
really scary though, because I've read a little bit about warp drive, but that's more of like bending time and space to get to an object, right?
Essentially, it would be the same thing. You're talking about in the front having a force and on the back having the opposite force to
Break
push
open
it.
a hole in the space-time continuum to move, right?
Yeah, I mean, what you're talking about, I mean, the vacuum of space. I mean, yeah, magnets work, but what is it pushing against?
Each other.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Yeah, see,
way above
it's
my
just,
pay grade.
dude, it's just a thought I had. I've just always wanted people who like space to think about it. Like, it's it's
Yeah, you forgot that.
yeah. Sorry, guys. My fireplace decided to poop on us. But
Not burn your house down in a minute.
oh, dude, I'd love for this place to burn down. To be honest with you, I have an insurance policy that's almost triple what this fucking thing we paid for it. So like, we would just build a better house. So burn the fuck down.
At what point do they catch it on video?
Yeah.
Dropping it.
And then I'm in jail for fraud.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
I got you back, don't worry.
That's funny. No, but so that's what I was thinking. Like, you know, if we had an object going this way and an object going that way, and the polarity was switched, like they would push against each other, that energy has to go somewhere. So now I have a hole in the middle where the energy's going, and it pushes an object. There's people out there that are probably like real astrophysics, like or physicists, and they're probably just like, I wish this guy would shut up. They're gonna be like, he's got no clue what he's talking about.
I'm sure they could educate you, but I don't know. I think they probably wouldn't be mad. I mean, we're not stating facts of this is how this would work. We're curious. I think they would they would love that there's other people curious in their field.
I just
bringing awareness to the field.
You know, I've said this about the human race on other podcasts, man. Like, what do you think the purpose of life is?
I've watched those episodes actually.
Oh, so you know what I'm gonna say?
I know what you're about to say, and you got me thinking a lot on that. I don't know. I wish I knew. I'm sure a lot of people also wish they knew those answers.
Yeah.
And I know you are expecting those answers.
Well, I just don't like see people's perspective. I don't think there's a right or wrong. You know, I believe in what I believe in, and that works for me. But like, if somebody believes in something different, like, dude, as long as they're fucking getting by on that and it makes them happy, like, that's all that matters. But I always like to see what people think the purpose of life is, because it kind of tells me more about like how their brain works. You know. Like, if somebody tells me the purpose of life is, I want to work hard for 50 years and then retire and then own a boat. That's the purpose of life. And then have a couple kids. I'm like, cool, dude. That's great. Now I know a little bit more about why that guy does what he does, you know?
Yeah. I wish I knew the answer. I imagine we're probably far off from what the actual answer is. But the only thing you can do is live in the moment, given what you're given. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And hopefully they reciprocate. You're treating people like shit, they're gonna treat you like. That's not how the world goes around, man.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I think that's the biggest thing too. Just like being kind, being approachable, being normal to people. Giving out what you give, or getting back what you give is huge, and vice versa to that. I think you hit it right on the head what you said earlier too. So I'm gonna switch back the conversation. Let's get back to business. That was probably the most fun little tangent rant I've ever had. So
yeah,
that's fucking cool, dude. Episode 10, a lot of fun, man.
Now that I know you know that, I'll definitely send you some videos and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Cool.
Dude, now we can never hang out just alone, me and you, dude, because like we're never gonna leave. We're just gonna talk about shit like this forever.
Yeah.
So we have to be like our girlfriend or your girlfriend, my wife.
Yeah, you got to get used to saying that.
Yeah, I do. Trust me. We have to have those people around and be like, honey, it's 4 a.m. Can we go fucking home now? Like,
make sure they become good friends. And
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We love going on double dates, dude. That's one thing we like. We like going out with other couples, and I don't know, just experiencing new things. Trying different places out, and like boring stuff. No, I'm just kidding, all that fun stuff. But we travel a lot too. We like traveling with our couples. That's always the best.
That's cool. You know, it's hard to find people that actually are able to do it.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, we don't like traveling with people that are like high maintenance. You know, like I don't like having like an itinerary. Like I just like to know like, hey, we're in this area. These are things that I want to do. Like we don't have to do it on a Tuesday. We can do it tomorrow.
I'm the same way. I hate a schedule. That's kind of part of why I like, you know,
Being your own boss.
being my own boss. I hated the mundane. This is whenever you do this. This is when you take your break. This is. No, I like waking up and be like, what am I doing today?
Yeah. What's the adventure today?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I love
You
that.
never know.
I fucking love that, man. So let's get to it then. Let's talk about the business. Let's talk
Yeah.
about your bread and butter. Let's talk about Nitrous Motorsports.
Yep.
I want to learn everything about it. I want you to talk about it as much as you can.
Cool. Yeah. As of right now, that's the bread and butter. That's the one that's working the best. That's what I've kind of put my most time into. You know, obviously was doing trading. I'm still doing trading. That's kind of just on the back burner. Real estate, still doing that. It's kind of on the back burner. Dealership, that's my bread and butter right now. That's what's making me, you know, all my attention's going to the dealership. While I started explaining, I actually did get you something. I
Oh,
promised.
dude, no way.
Promised you a shirt.
That's fucking sweet, dude.
Yep, just
that
got
is
those.
sick.
Got those made up not too long ago.
Dude, that is sick. Oh, this will totally fit, dude.
Yeah, if it doesn't, just let me know. I'll get you a different size.
Everybody, Nitrous Motorsports, they also have badass t-shirts.
We do have a merch store.
Dude, this is
So,
sweet, dude.
We
If
got
I
some-
ever went to a NASCAR rally, I'd be wearing this. I would
That's
never
cool.
go.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we got some cool stuff too that I'm putting on there now too. You just have to look up the website and see.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call them like meme shirts, but you know I have Jack Daniels.
Oh yeah, I've been to the distillery many times.
Yeah. So I have one. It's Gap Daniels.
Nice.
Instead
Nice.
of Tennessee, and it's Missouri Gap sauce. Instead of Old Number 7, it's Old Number Nos. It's kind of, you know, my theme.
A little cheesy, dude, but I like it.
Yeah,
I
know,
fucking like it, dude.
I love it. I got
So you have an econ store and everything for that?
yeah, ecom. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I have everything hooked up. You can put in orders in. I could drop ship them, or I have some just sitting in my dealership, hung it up for display. I got only cars, only bikes. You know, instead of the padlock and the O, it's a car or a bike.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Just kind of funny.
No, it's just cool shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if I bought a car from your dealership, like, why wouldn't I want to fucking have it on there? That's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
How many people around here you see that has the dumb Plaza license plate sticker on? You know, when they buy a car from Plaza.
Right.
That's fucking sweet, dude. So, forget about the merch stuff for a second. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of the business, dude. So, like, you got into it. You took the leap of faith. It's obviously paying off well. Like, what does that look like as far as, like, a business goes? Who's your ideal customer? And one, after the ideal customer, how can people find you? Who do you service?
Yeah, so kind of my niche is going to be sports cars, motorcycles, street bikes, cruisers, trucks.
You sell ATVs?
We do a couple off-road, but we don't specialize in it.
I'm about to say, dude, I just bought one today. If you would have sold it, I would have went to you 100%. I would have bought it from you.
That's not much in inventory. If you were looking for something like that, I would just have to, you know, put some feelers out there and find it for you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's sports cars, trucks, motorcycles, and luxury vehicles. That's the bread and butter. But we have everything. We can sell anything with a VIN. We got a boat on the lot. We got 2 different RVs, campers. I'm sorry. A lot of cars. We got, you know, some economy cars, some cheaper cars are under, you know, $8K for people that have a lower budget.
First cars, lower budgets.
Yep.
You know who's in the market for a good RV/camper? This guy.
Oh, I got 2 of them.
Well, check it out.
One of them has a toy hauler, so you can put your quad in it.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. But yeah,
Should've
like I
told
said,
me that, man.
I don't have much inventory on those. That just is kind of, you know, I'm trying to be diversified and reach.
Well, there's money to be made, right? If the deal's a good deal, it's a good deal.
Yeah, I'll take any money. Yeah,
If you can make a good margin on it, dude, and get your gross out there, and it makes sense for the business, then fuck yeah, dude. I'm sure you'd sell peanuts, dude, if there was a good margin on it. Why not?
Yeah, I would throw it on my website.
Absolutely.
Hey, peanuts for sale. Yeah. To answer your question, ideal customer, I have a diverse amount of inventory. I do broker deals as well. If someone's looking for someone, I do consignments. Consignments. Hey, you got something that? Well, I'll take trade-ins. if you don't like my trade-in offer, cool. I'll
Essentially, you'll sell it for them for a percent.
Yep. X amount of fee or a percent, whatever. I work with them. I try to be fair.
But that's pretty unique because not many places do that.
Yeah, a lot of
that's
people
actually
do
really cool.
Trade-ins.
Yeah, but not consignment though.
Yeah, I'll do trade-ins all day, every day. But some people are like, oh, well, I can get this out. I'm like, okay.
Let me sell it for you.
So you could either do that, or if you don't want to deal with that and you want a credible business to do that for you, I'll do it for X amount.
Yeah.
Depending what you have.
That's fantastic, dude. I love that. I love innovators in the industry, man, because that's what that is.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So I'm doing that. I got the consulting side of things. That's just now kind of starting. I am in the middle of becoming a service shop now. Ideally, I kind of want the service shop to turn into a performance shop. Kind of like the business now. I got some economy cars and stuff like that. But, the main end goal is going to be more performance based. I want to have stuff supercharged. I want to have turbos. I want them to be bottle fed, which is, sprayed nitrous.
Yeah.
I want the fast stuff, the loud stuff, stuff that not everyone could have.
Well, I think the goal here is for you to set the trend, right? We're like everybody in St. Louis that has a performance car. We're talking about $80,000 plus that has X amount of features to it, right? Foreigns, domestic, performance cars. Like, we want them to go to your shop, right? Because at one point you're going to be a leader in that industry, right? You're going to be setting the trend, setting the tone for what everybody else does. Everybody else is going to play catch up. That's the goal, right?
Exactly.
And man, I'll tell you, man, those guys. I had a client in St. Louis, and they were an auto spa, and they did like ceramic coatings and things like that.
Yep.
And they started on everyday cars, the Honda Civics, the fucking Nissan Altimas, my Ram, right? But then they got a good clientele into performance cars. And those performance guys that own those $100,000 plus cars, dude, they are loyal as all get out, dude. Because that person, like your shop, you know their car. You know, like the inside out, you're going to take care of them, and they trust it. Like that's an investment that they have. That's a huge asset to them, or liability, however you look at it. But, that's a huge part of their life. And they don't want just Joe Blow working on it. So you develop a good clientele like that. These people trust you. You work on the car one time, you do a good job. I guarantee you're planting that seed, man. They're coming back every time.
Exactly.
Every fucking time. Every time they need a tune-up, every season before the track opens, like, where are they going to go? Right back to nitrous.
Yeah, and, you were touching it earlier. You're like, hey, you need 9 streams of income. I was not expecting this one to be, I thought could be a couple. I was like, all right, I'm a performance dealer. I also have a performance shop, cool. It's becoming so much more than that, and it's endless. Like you said, I already got guys on my team. This is their idea, and I'm like structuring deals. Like, hey, we do this under the dealership's umbrella, but I'll let you, be the manager, be in charge of this aspect. Like one of my guys wants to do tinting. They've talked about ceramic coating, doing paint jobs.
Yeah, dude, the margin on the ceramic coat is fucking stupid.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Wrapping, we're very serious about to becoming wrappers, so vinyl wraps.
Another good margin.
Yeah.
Pay $100 for a roll and charge $1,800 a car.
Locksmiths. We already have equipment to where we can program. We spent a lot of money in it. We're about to spend more money. We actually have to get a van to integrate with this computer. It's a next step up. But at that point, not only are we just doing this for our cars that we need it, someone calls us up. That's another leg of the business. Hey, I'm locked out, or my girlfriend threw my keys in the river. Like,
does happen.
It happened. How are you going to get your car? Well, we're going to be those people that are going to be able to come out and reprogram a key for your car.
I'm a huge believer that, if I know somebody, I always keep my business local anytime I can. If I knew somebody that owned a grocery store, I would only shop there. I always use that as an example, right? So if you ever get in the grocery store business, I will be your customer. But when you get to that point where you're doing the key fob stuff, please tell me, because like I hate the key fob I have for my Ram. Something's wrong with it, dude. Where like anytime I unlock it, the lock button too sometimes goes off, and I have to kind of like fight with it for like 10 seconds. And like I went to a dealership, they're like, yeah, I'll be $380 to fix it. I was like, the problem's not that big of an issue to me, man.
Yeah.
But you guys get into that where you can reprogram a new key fob for me. I will be a fucking customer that day.
Yeah, finicky for sure with what you got going on. Yeah, like I said, we're just starting to get into it, so I haven't. I've talked to a lot of people, family, other friends, saying the same thing. I tell them like I will reach out to you. I'm not at the point yet to where I can actually make this a business. It's just too time consuming. I kind of got to focus on the other things, but most definitely.
Yeah.
Or if you need some referrals, I know people that actually do it right now. But I mean, you're knocking about around the same ballpark on price for.
Sure, I get
like
it, man. But here's the deal: I'd rather give someone like you $380 than fucking, some big Mungan ass or whoever, right? Or fucking Bomberitos.
Yeah.
Like, they do enough business, dude. Like, I need to help a little guy. Anytime we can help a little business do well, like, that's what it's all about, dude.
I think you and I are kind of the same. I heard you earlier. You're like, oh, I'd just do it for you for free at your cost.
Oh,
I mean, that's kind of how friends and family, you got to take care of them. Obviously, I'm not trying to, bring retail customers over. I'm going to, try to be competitive on price with them. But,
Sure.
If you do that, then you're not going to be able to keep the doors open. If you just give everyone your at cost.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, like, I've done, so I have a marketing background, obviously, like I told you earlier, and I've done marketing for some people I know for free all the time. Why? Because I love and care about them, and it matters to me. Like, I always believed in firmly, like, hey, man, like, I'm helping you out this time. You'll help me out if I ever need it, And sometimes does that fuck me over? Yeah, sure, it is what it is. But, those people have weaned themselves out of my life for the better. But the people that, like, for example, one of my mentors, he was on my podcast a couple months ago. Dude's awesome. His name's Ryan. I helped him out with some marketing and business development stuff, training his sales reps to be killer salesmen, because that's all I've done is I trained sales reps for a long time, and I'm pretty good at it. I love fucking training sales reps, dude, because I'm a sales rep myself. So it's like I'm just preaching the choir. But anyways, I helped some of his guys out for a little bit last year, and in return, he owns a HVAC and plumbing company in Florida, and I had a bunch of issues. He didn't fly up and help me, but he was able to, instead of me paying $80 for a service call for some guy to come out here and tell me that it was a simple fix, he hopped on a call with me for 2 hours and walked me through how to fix it.
Troubleshoot.
Yeah, just troubleshot with me, and fucking I got the parts. He told me what to get and told me how to install them, and it was a really, really easy fix, man. It was just my P-trap. Like, if I would have called a plumber, it would have been $200 for him to fix my P-trap.
Easily.
Yeah, this guy was like, dude, it's just your P-trap, dude. It's not a big deal. He's like, turn off the water, run to your hardware store, get this size of P-trap, and you know what a P-trap is, of course. But
I don't. That's why I would pay a plumber.
It's the elbow underneath your sink. It's called a P-trap. Yeah. So I didn't know this either. Don't feel bad. I didn't know this either until he told me. But yeah, and then he was like, dude, I'll walk you through how to do this. It'll be easy. And then what happened? Solved the problem. So like it's all. I always believe in the giving back, and then people will give to me and all that good stuff. So
yeah,
that's wild, man. Yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought where I was going with that.
No, you're good. I think it was just all about we keep on saying you help your fellow man.
Oh yeah, support local, right? Essentially, right?
Yeah.
Like anytime I can be of any resource to you or to anybody out there that has a local business around here, or even fuck being local, just a small business, right? I'd rather see the guy that makes $300K a year do well. I don't give a shit about the guy that makes $1 billion a year, or $1 million or $5 million, right? Like those are the people. Those people have the infrastructure. They don't need help, right? The guys that are trying to get over that next hurdle, to get to that next level, that's the guys who need help, and that's what I want to do. When I said that earlier, I do some business consulting on the side for people. Basically, what I'll come through, dude. Now, you ever seen Bar Rescue? This is gonna sound really funny. You ever seen Bar Rescue?
Yeah.
So I've read all of John Taffer's books. Can't recommend them enough. They're fucking fantastic. I'll send them to you later. But I run through like that, and I'm not saying I'm like ecstatic and crazy and cussing at people and all that stuff like that. But like I look at business at such a level in that regard where like I'll come to you and be like, hey man, listen, like why the fuck are we doing this? This doesn't make any sense. We're hemorrhaging money here. Why are we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we doing this? I'll question everything with my customers and my clients that I work with. I'll look at their finances. I'll look at how their employees are. Like, that guy's motivated. That guy's not motivated. He's got to go. He needs to stay. This guy needs a raise. When I was helping my buddy with his, he also owns like an appliance resale shop. So they'll buy scratch and dent units and then resell them. And they have an awesome repair team too. It's a great business. Mako Appliances in Kentucky. They're a fantastic business. He had 2 employees there that were underpaid. And I was like, hey man, you want me to tell you why these guys are slacking off? And he was like, why is that? I go, they're underpaid. I was like, these guys are severely underpaid. I'm like, dude, these guys are bringing you in X amount of dollars. They're doing work. They're just unmotivated. Give them a pay raise and see what happens. And I said, he was paying me a consultant fee. I said, take the pay out of my consultant fee. I said, whatever the raise was going to be, I was like, take it out of my fee for 90 days and let's see if they improve. And if they don't, we'll go back. These guys tripled their numbers, dude. They just needed that little fire lit underneath them because they weren't motivated all the way, And this one guy got like a 26% raise. And in Kentucky, it's a very poor area of Kentucky overall down there, low income. And like that changed this guy's life, dude. Like he was like, yeah, well, I'm saving up to buy my daughter a car. Well, guess what he was able to do? 2 months later, he bought his daughter a car, you know? And like it was just like those small things that when I look at a business, I try to find all the areas of opportunity. And that was, in that case, that was just that one, you know? So it's crazy how that works out, dude. Just have, like you said earlier, having an extra set of eyes look at the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's neat. How do some of these guys react to you kind of stepping in and saying?
You mean the owners?
Yeah, like saying, hey, you're doing this wrong. Like, give me like a good example and a good reaction, a bad reaction.
Well, good example is like, you know, hey man, like I am working with Nate, and I don't have a fixed rate, dude. Like I just meet people that are cool, and like if I want to work with you, I'm not desperate for business. You know, like I work with people who I think are cool, right?
Yeah.
And if I don't want to work with you, I won't work with you. It's that simple, right? So like I go into the meetings telling them like, hey, listen, man, like I'm gonna come off as an asshole. This is we might have some tough conversations, but I just want you to know in the back of your mind that in my heart, it's only to make your business successful. And I'm not the fucking smartest business guy in the world. I have a good track record, thank God. Have I had some failures? Absolutely. And those are burned in my belt forever, right? But you know, I will tell you the good, bad, and the ugly, and I just need you to be receptive and open-minded. Okay?
So you preference that up front.
Yes. I'm like, it's going to be tough sometimes, or it might not be. You might just need one or two little fixes here and there, and your business has changed, and it's great for the better, right? Or you might need a complete overhaul because you have everything ass backwards, right? It happens all the time, dude. I have a small client. I'm not going to mention his names because I'm still working with him. I have an NDA. I'm sure you know what that is.
Respectable, yeah.
Yeah, I have an NDA, but he's a small guy. Business probably does about $160,000 a year, give or take. And when he got with me, he was doing just under $100K. And his whole business model, how he was charging people, was fucked up. I was like, dude, like every he's a blue collar worker. He's in service, right? So like I'm trying to be vague here. His bread and butter are homeowners, okay? Blue collar workings in and home, okay? I said, dude, you got to look at every house like a piggy bank, dude. Like you're only taking half of the piggy bank. You have to milk every household for what you can get out of it. And I mean that ethically. I don't mean like, oh, like go in there and break this so they have to do that. But like, dude, like if you're repairing X for them, like sell them on a service plan. Sell them on a PM agreement, a preventative maintenance agreement. Sell them on something else. Like, you know, like you have to, you're leaving so much money on the table. I was like, there's so much more meat on the bone, dude. You're not eating it. I'm like, somebody's going to eat it, dude. Somebody's going to fucking eat it. And like, it's not like he's lying to them and like they don't need it. Like, these people need this stuff. Like, you know, like I have a preventive maintenance agreement with a company here locally on my HVAC system. And like every 6 months they come out and check it out or whatever. Like, I need that, dude. Because they're able to fix any issues before they happen. And they're able to make sure that my unit is working properly, you know, and inspect it, right? The same deal, like, dude, your car, you need an oil change every once in a while. It's the same deal, same idea, right?
I know exactly what you're.
Yeah. So like in that case, you know, he was a great client. He was like, hey man, like, you've made me a shit ton of money. I appreciate what you did. I would have never even thought about that, you know, because he's not a business guy. He's an expert at what he does guy. He just owns a business, you know, because he owns a business, right? Like you put, it's HVAC. Fuck. Okay, the jig's up. It's HVAC. If you put him in front of a fucking HVAC system, he can take it apart with his eyes closed and rebuild it, no problem. He can tell you anything that's wrong with it, right? But if you ask him about business, he doesn't know what he's doing, and that's not his fault. It's just not what he likes. You know, it's not his interest.
Yeah.
I had another guy that I don't work with anymore. He was not receptive at all. He was very arrogant. Asked for my help, which I thought was kind of funny. And I was like, yeah, dude, I'll look at your books and I'll help you out the whole 9 yards, dude. And I looked at everything behind the scenes, and this is like 2 years ago. And yeah, man, he just wasn't open to any ideas. He was like, oh, that wouldn't work. I go, how the fuck do you know if you don't try it? I'm like, dude, most things that we figured out is trial by error. Like, yeah. Dude, like a lot of people had to die before we realized we don't eat those weird mushrooms in the forest.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a trial by error, dude.
Yep.
And if it doesn't work, then I'll be the first person to say, hey man, it didn't work. Let's pivot. Let's do this strategy instead. Let's go this market. Let's break it down this way. But I was like, we won't know until we try. I'm like, you're only one attempt away from success. Always. You're always one attempt away. And he didn't want to listen to it, man. So I was like, hey, I just don't think this is gonna work out, man. And I will always give you my 2 cents. If you call me and need my advice on something, I will always tell you the truth. I promise you. Hand to God, I will always tell you the truth. But as far as a contractual, transactional agreement, it's not going to work. because you're just going to pay me and you're not going to do anything, and then your business is going to be the same place where it was 6 months from now, and then you're going to be pissed at me because you gave me money, and I don't want to do that.
Yep, that's smart.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't expect these guys out here. They want change, and then so they're seeking your help. You're telling them, hey, let's change, and then them saying no.
Dude, everybody wants a six-pack, dude. Nobody wants to go to the gym.
Right.
It's the same fucking idea, man.
How are you going to get different results if you don't change?
Once again, and I'm not the guru here. I'm not a fucking business expert. I'm not, I haven't created a 10-figure business out of my fucking house, right?
Humble.
Right, but I haven't. I have not done that. But, I've been around the block, and I know the commonalities that an average business person, especially in the startup phase, in the newer phase of business, I've been around the block, and I know what to look for. I know what to avoid. I talked about it earlier. I know that path through that landmine field. I can get you through that field to a certain extent,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I always just let people do what they want, man. At the end of the day, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. If the person wants to listen to my idea and work with me and be collaborative, then fantastic. And if they don't, then it's probably not going to be a good fit. And that's okay, too, because there's 6 million businesses that open every year in the United States. I'll have plenty of people that need help, Same deal with cars, man. Not everybody that comes to your lot's going to be a good fit. They might be difficult to work with, and you might be like, dude, I'm not going to pull my fucking hair out over this. There'll be a guy that comes by next week that's going to buy this car.
That's exactly my motto. People come up, and I tell people all the time, and they're kind of shocked because I guess they're used to the pushy salesman. I've worked salesman jobs at other dealerships and stuff. Now they'll say this, and this. Why don't? And I'll tell them, you don't have to buy this one. I'm like, I only want you to buy this if you think it's going to be something that you want.
Yeah, this isn't the only model of this in the States, sir.
Yeah. And then they're like, well, I found this, down the road. And I'm like, if you think that's a better fit, I want you to go with that. Because I don't want you to buy my stuff and then you be unhappy with, I want you to be happy with your purchase. And they kind of sit there like, I wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah, dude, I bought 2 cars. I'm actually pretty good with my cars. I don't really beat them up too much. I had a 300, a Chrysler 300S, my dream car. I bought it in my early.
Dream car?
It was my dream car, and I bought it in my early 20s. First year I made 100K, I bought it. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm the guy in this motherfucker. Great car, I miss it, but I got a truck. Don't regret that. The truck has been the best purchase I've ever made because of how much I use it, and we're starting a family and all this stuff. So I wanted to have the utility to do what I need to do. But anyways, I remember when I bought my 300, I went to one of the dealerships, and I was like 22, 23. I've told this story before, but I had a check for like 15 grand in my pocket, and nobody wanted to give me the time of day. Nobody wanted to fucking talk to me because I was in shorts and a t-shirt, whatever.
You look like a kid.
Yeah, I looked like a kid. I mean, I was a kid. I was a fucking douchebag, fucking tatted up kid, whatever, right? And nobody wanted to fucking give me the time of day. I found one I liked, and I was like, hey man, can I test drive? They go, oh, you got to put a deposit down. I go, a deposit down for a test drive? I'm like, are you sure? The guy was just being a dick, right?
Yeah.
And then after I test drove it, he's like, well, are you going to buy it today? I was like, oh, I need to think about it. He's like, you told me this is your favorite car. You told me you like this. This is everything you want. What's there to think about? Let's do the paperwork right now. I was like, no, man, listen, I don't make any decision without thinking about it. I'm like, I trust my intuition. My intuition is telling me to go home and think about it. And I said, listen, dude, in the morning, bright and early, you guys open at 9. I said, I will be here at 9 o'clock if I want to buy the car. I promise you. And he was just really, really pushy about it.
Yeah.
And the guy didn't want to give me the time of day. Earlier than that, the guy was being a real dick about it, being pushy, trying to take advantage of a kid. So I went down the street to a different dealership. They had the same fucking car, identical, same color, a year newer, and they had a little less mile on it, around the same price. I drove it. I was like, hey man, I just want to make sure this is the right decision for me. If I like it, I'll buy it. I'm that simple when I buy cars. If I like it, I'll buy it. Next day, I called him up, said, hey man, his name's Dan. I went to high school with him actually. Dan Oliver, great guy. He goes, hey Nate, how you doing? I go, good man. I'm like, you still got that car? He's like, yep, still here. I was like, cool. I'm gonna come pick it up in an hour. And I bought it. I drove that car to the other dealership, and I said, hey man, look what I got. I go, that's what you get when you're not a dick. And I drove off.
Yep.
Fuck that guy.
Had to give the final fuck you to that.
I did, because he was a dick. He didn't want to give me the time of day at first. He didn't know I had to check for 15K in my pocket. And, and then he wanted to fucking be pushy, man.
In all reality, though, I mean, you did that dude a favor. You showed him, like, hey, look, change up your attitude, you're going to get more sales.
Oh, yeah. Well, you were in sales, dude. You ever, been in a bad meeting where like the person's pissy, and then what do you say at the end of it? Hey man, this really sticks it to him. Hey man, I don't know what's going on, but I hope your day gets better. That pisses people off when they're mad more than anything. And I love doing it.
I'll do a similar thing. Someone will like, I'll let them go. I'll just like pause and I'll be like, "Are you okay?"
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Sir, this isn't about me, is it? Is everything all right?
Yeah, they don't like that.
Oh my god, yeah, I love it, dude. I remember, I used to make a shit ton of cold calls and everything, dude, and I'd get in these meetings with these people, and they'd be pissed as fuck about whatever, and I'd be like, hey, sir, listen, I'm on your side here, I'm just trying to help you, sir, but are you alright? And they're like, fuck you, yeah, I'm alright, fuck. I'm like, alright, man, let's just solve the problem, right? And then at the end of the call, what is it? Hey, man, I hope you have a great rest of your day, or I hope your day gets better. And then, I know they're getting pissy about it, but hopefully that makes them think, right? Like, okay, damn, maybe I need to chill out.
You don't bite the hand that's feeding you.
You never bite the hand that's feeding you.
Like, I'm here to help you. Why are you pissing off the only person that
gives a damn about what
is able to help you?
Right.
Yeah, to circle back, yeah, like I've worked sales jobs, car dealership, bike dealership. In my startup phase, my first years doing this, just trying to keep doors open and be a player in the game. I had to work with another dealer under them. It sucked, but in the grand scheme of things, I am so happy all that happened because they showed me exactly what not to do.
Yeah.
And then that's why I have my team of 8 now, including myself, plus these 2 mentees on my team. We hang out. We'll go over to my house like the fight nights. Like he came over. We'll do that. We'll cook.
It was a good time.
We'll hang out up at the dealership when we're, we got the TV going, music playing. We're chilling. We got a break room. It isn't work. And I think the reason why I found that success is because I've been in every single one of their shoes. And I knew exactly how I did not want to be treated and how I would have preferred to be treated. So I'm trying to treat them as like I was in their shoes. And it has been working phenomenally.
I bet it has, dude, because you guys are happy, they're motivated, and they know they're supported. Anytime I've been in a sales role, I've always wanted that. And I haven't always got it, right? But as a person who's been in sales their whole life, when I was at my last company for 3.5 years, like I got that support. My manager, even though I butted heads with my manager all the fucking time. But it was like a big sister, little brother relationship, right? Like, she would piss me off more than anybody. I know I would piss her off, dude. But what would happen? I'd be writing my numbers. I was number 1 in the company in sales out of 2,000 employees. Almost the whole 3 years I was there. And she would fucking ride my ass about the little dumb shit, dude. But, like, it wasn't like she was doing that because she hates me. She wanted me to be the best that I could be, But, like, when I needed her, like, in a bind, right? If I needed, like, hey, I was like, hey, I can't, I'm not going to say her name because once again, I don't want to show people out there. But I was like, hey, whatever. I can't close this deal. Could you help me? She'd be the first person on the fucking call. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, I'm actually sick. My computer went down. I can't key this deal and I can't enter it in the system. Can you do it for me? Absolutely. I gotcha. No problem. I called her at fucking 12 o'clock. Deal closed. I sold the deal in Hawaii. We're like 6 hours behind us or whatever. It's 12 o'clock here, 6 o'clock there. My computer was not working. She keyed it for me. Stayed up till 1 a.m. keying the deal in the system for me. Like, that's the support you give. I've been in other roles where like, hey man, like I just think that you could help me out with this sale. It's not going through. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm too busy. So in that situation, having the support, which is what you're giving your people, anybody out there that runs a sales organization, if you give your guys the support that they need and they deserve, I promise you the results are going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, like you're consulting them. You probably preach that every day.
I do, man. Just support your people, dude. Support your people, and they'll be motivated and they'll do well.
Yeah, I'll actually touch on that because so my girlfriend and my sister, they all, everyone kind of sees, success around us, and they're like, okay, what can we do? Okay, what did I do? I created a little studio in my house in the basement, so now they're doing eyelash extensions.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and like, all right, hey, I've been through this. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I've been in your spot. So the last thing I'm gonna do, being like a friend, but like boyfriend and brother. Last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna not let you make the same mistakes I made. So like, do what you want with this, but I struggle with this. I would not do this if I were you. or this caused me to lose this money. Beware of this. And it's super supportive. You know, like they're all out there liking my social medias, promoting me. I'm doing it in return. I'm happy for their success. People don't realize that there's not. I'm trying to weed out my circle of like these people because there are.
You got it, dude.
There are, and I'm sure you have them too. But the people that are hating on your downfall, man, those are cancer. You got to get those people out. It's the people that are in your circle and you want the best for them and they want the best for you. Those are the people you keep around because those are the people that are going to grow with you.
Let me tell you some of my experience, and I'm older than you, so I'm going to talk to you like I'm your older brother here.
All right, shoot.
Let me tell you something I experienced when, hold on guys, time out here. My production assistant over here, aka my wife, she said that the camera's a little blurry, so let her fix that real quick.
Okay.
Give us a 30-second delay, guys. Just make sure you don't hit the not record button. But.
I mean, I have to. It like froze. It's all your fault.
I'll edit it out, don't worry, dude.
No, you're good.
Don't forget where I'm going with that, because it's actually critical.
Okay, I got you.
Keep going, it's your fault.
So you stopped recording?
No, go.
Okay, cool. I'll edit that out. No, I won't. I'm not gonna edit it out. It makes it more original. I don't give a shit about my edit value.
You forgot to charge. You should have charged. Like I said.
You need a
But
power
keep going.
bank? I have a power bank with me.
Do you really?
I do.
What's the percent at?
It's less than 20,
Let me go get it real
but
quick.
you have the mic thing in there.
Oh yeah. We'll just wrap it up. We'll do another segment too. Don't worry about it. You'll definitely be welcome back anytime. But no, so my word of advice to you, dude, is like when I was about your age, 25, I've had the same mentors for a couple years. There's 3 mentors. My one mentor, he does not make good money. He works his ass off, but he's taught me a lot. My other mentor makes about 6 figures. He works his dick off, and he's taught me a lot. My other mentor makes millions of dollars. He works his ass off still, and he's taught me a lot. So I use those 3, and I get all 3 of their perspectives before I make any big decisions in my life. Why? Because I'm seeing it from somebody, and I hate to say this, I see it from somebody who's broke, I see it from somebody who makes a decent living, and I see it from somebody who's doing really well. Okay? When I was about 25, I was feeling really, really upset. Like I was like almost in tears some nights thinking about this. But I realized I outgrew a lot of my friends. The people that I loved hanging out with every weekend, the people that I loved going to get drunk with at the bars and doing crazy fun shit. I realized that I outgrew a lot of them. And I was upset. I was really upset. I was like, dude, why do I feel this way? We'd go out and we'd hang out and I'd have nothing to talk about with them. I'd have nothing to talk about. Things that were funny weren't funny anymore. You know, things that mattered didn't matter. And I outgrew them. So I talked to my 3 mentors and I said, hey man, have you ever experienced that? The common denominator that all 3 of them said was yes. I have outgrown people. And what I'm saying to you is like, it's normal to outgrow people, right? I'm not saying use and abuse and then like as soon as you get that person's worth, you kick them to the curb. But it's normal as you progress through lives, dude. Like, you know, a Bugatti has 2 seats, man. A bus has 60. You know, there's not much room at the top of the mountain. And that's okay, right? There could be people at the bottom still trying to climb up. There could be people at the summit. There could be people almost to the peak like you, man. But, you know, like, don't be afraid to cut those people out because I did, and it was the best decision I've ever made. There's people that I would literally, to this day, if they called me at 3 a.m. and need help, I'd be there for them 100%. But I have no ambition of talking to them on a regular basis or communicating with them because I don't gain any value from that, and they're not gaining any value from me. Everything that they can teach me would only be a detriment to me, and everything that I can teach them, they're not interested in. So why waste time?
It makes sense.
It's harsh, dude. It's fun. You're gonna feel like a piece of shit doing it. I did. Yeah. I felt terrible. I felt like I was leaving them on a desert island and I had the only boat. I felt terrible.
Maybe it's their own fault, though. I mean, they have
sometimes
you as a resource.
Sometimes it's their own fault, man. It's not everybody knows, you know. And I'm not no fucking second coming by any means, but like I can identify when people provide value or not. I can feel. Maybe that's just the gift that I'm given. You know, when I was born, I know when people can benefit me. And that sounds selfish to say, but like I know when I can learn something from somebody. You know what I mean? And if I can't learn from you, dude, I have no time for you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll just add my perspective on
that,
please. Which is very similar, actually. I agree everything with what you're saying. Under the understanding that the people below you are jealous and
some are
upset. If they aren't, I would actually say I slightly disagree with that. Let me give you an example. So I learned this from doing the wrestling, the fighting whenever I was younger, but it's been applicable towards business, and I'm realizing it now with my guys under me that are seeking my knowledge. And my dad taught me a lot of lessons, how to do this stuff.
Of course.
He's like whenever you're training, he's like, you need to find someone that you can just completely pummel, destroy.
Oh, homecoming game.
Yep, you need to find someone that is your equal, and you need to find someone that just can kick your ass. He's like, the person that's going to kick you ass is going to take you to the next level. It's going to destroy your confidence, though. So therefore, the person at your level, that will allow you to have good competition. The person below you, that's going to allow you to hone your skills and boost your confidence back up. You need all
really
three
smart.
of those.
Yeah, it's really smart. It's kind of like my mentors, actually. Because,
whenever you said it, I laughed.
That's wild.
I saw it when you said it. Yeah,
that's absolutely wild. That's just literally how my mentors are.
Yep.
Like, one I'm on par with, the middle guy, and the other one would fucking, if we had a money stacking contest, he would destroy me. And then the other guy, like,
you're gonna learn a shit ton from that dude.
Oh, dude, I've already learned quite a bit from him. He's a fucking genius. But, and the other guy, not knocking him, but like, if I wanted to buy his house and kick him out of it, I could.
Right.
I would never do that, of course. Like, I love the guy to death. He's like a dad to me. He's helped me a lot with many things. But it's funny how you said that, because that literally is what the fuck my deal is.
Well, like with your mentor that you said is below you, same thing like what I would say with, some of my guys that are seeking my knowledge. I don't think I would be where I'm at if I didn't, because they're asking me all these questions, and I've been in the game a little bit longer, I've done it, so I know a little bit more, but the fact that now they're relying on me to know it, it really makes me have to understand it now to a point to where I can explain it on a first grade level.
Yeah.
So now my understanding of this is far superior because now I have people relying on me to provide them accurate answers. So
do you want to hear a marketing trick?
I want to hear it, yeah.
Anytime you ever make content for any social medias, make sure you run it through ChatGPT and say, rewrite this at a 3rd grade reading level. Do you want to know why?
Interesting.
3rd grade reading level in America is what people understand the most. If you do an 8th grade reading level, people won't relate to it.
No kidding.
Isn't that sad?
That is sad.
Fucking sad.
Huh.
So anytime you make content, run it through ChatGPT and say, this is what I want to post, rewrite this at a 3rd grade level. And I promise you, just watch, your engagement will fucking... Because the common man's a fool. Thomas Paine said that. One of my favorite founding fathers. He also wrote the book called Common Sense. Anyways.
That's neat.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, dude.
No, you're good.
But yeah, it's just funny you said reading level. So, but no, I understand what you're saying, and I think you're right, 100%. That's a unique perspective you have. I love how there's a lot of correlations here, between what I'm doing and what you're doing in that regard. I think our perspectives pretty much line up quite a bit as well.
Yeah, we just had different experiences, so we have different analogies and
but the outcome's the same, and the principle's the same.
Similar, different skill sets too.
That's very true.
I mean, everything you're saying, you're way above my head.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I think I have 1 or 2 things that I might be a little bit of an edge on you.
I think you got me beat on a lot of things, my friend. Don't sell yourself short. There's so many things that I can learn from you, and vice versa. I mean, for me, it's always an equal playing field, man. The guy that I said is super wealthy. Like, I've taught him things. Has he taught me 99%? I've taught him the 1%. Yeah, man, for sure. But everybody's at it's a give and take and everything, dude. So I wouldn't sell yourself short. You've accomplished more than I've accomplished so far.
You're humble.
No, you've accomplished more than I'm being honest. You've accomplished more than I've accomplished.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but
dude, you're kicking ass. You're 20 at 25 years old. Dude, I was fucking playing beer pong at a bar at 3 a.m. I wasn't being a successful CEO, running a couple businesses, and day trading. You're a fucking machine, dude.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude, you're a fucking machine.
And just as humble as you are, I'm the same thing.
Well, I appreciate you being humble, because I was not humble for a long time. I remember the first year I made 100K, dude, I let everybody know. And I felt like, looking back, hindsight's 2020, what a piece of shit. If I could go back and actually, the dude that was 23, 24 years old would kick my ass. But if I could kick his ass, I would kick his ass. It's funny, a couple of my, I've known some friends of mine for a long time, and we always talk about 8th grade Nate. I was such a fucking menace, dude. I was like this size in 8th grade, maybe 30 pounds lighter. In an excellent shape, 8th grade freshman year, dude, I was a fucking monster. And I'm like, yeah, dude. They're like, dude, you're such a complete guy. And I always say this on the podcast. If you guys knew me back then, you haven't talked to me since, re-meet me. I'm a different person. But I'm always like, dude, I'm scared. Like, if I could go back in time and see that kid, like, he would beat the shit out of me. Like, I'm terrified of my past self.
You wouldn't like your past self?
No, I would not. Did you ever hear, Mike Tyson interviews where he's, gets, scared talking about, who he used to be?
like in the fight mode.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
They want to fight.
Yeah, like that's how, like, I'm not on that level for God's sakes, but like that's how I feel. Like, dude, like, oh my God, that guy was nuts, dude. Fuck 2000, prior 2016, fuck Nate. Then, like, fuck that guy. Terrible.
Those are the experiences that got you where you're at.
That's a good point.
You can't hate on those experiences.
Yeah, you're right. They definitely have added some, some kind of molding to who I am today. But for the sake of everything, let's kind of wrap this up. I want you to plug your businesses as much as you can. Guys, he's got my endorsement. This guy is a solid business person. He's ethical. He runs everything the way he should. You go there, I promise you, he's not going to take you for a ride. It's going to be straight up, to the point, the good, bad, and the ugly, as we should be all in business. Tell us about where we can find Nitrous. Tell us about, maybe, I know you said you're appointment only, which is perfect. The reason why he's appointment only is that way he can focus on you individually as you're there. He's not worried about the next guy that walks in. You come there, you're getting his full, undivided attention, and he's going to take care of you 100%. Where can they find you? What's the best way? If somebody's in the market for a new car, a new vehicle, a used vehicle, a sports bike, an RV like your boy here, what's the best way for them to find you?
Yeah, so I mean, if you allow it, once we get this video up, I can throw my website link.
100%.
My social medias.
So links coming soon.
Yeah, pop those in there. Like I said, I like to support all of my other business I'm into. I'm actually a treasurer on my mother's business that she just started. She has 24 years of business in it. She does home services, so she cleans houses, and we have a business now on
Does she
that.
want another client?
Absolutely. We're actually looking
Nate Lechner, nice to meet you.
looking for more employees right now. It's the struggle to find people to work.
I believe that.
So yeah, just, I like to basically, if it's mutually beneficial, I'm about it. If it's not mutually beneficial, like you said, I don't want to do business like you were referring to with your consulting. So exactly how I am. Check it out. If it makes sense for you, cool. If not, no harm, no foul. If you have questions for me, you reach out to me. The worst I could say is no.
That's a good point. I love that, man. You never know unless you ask either. So, dude, I'm super excited to have you here. I will tell you, man, if you're okay with it, please come back in maybe a week and we can shoot part 2. I think there's just so much. Of all the guests I had, man, I think there's a lot of similarities here I think we can dive into to really help some people understand maybe a little bit more. Maybe next time we meet, we just talk solely about business and nothing else on side notes. And because you're a shining example of like what somebody could be with just can-do attitude and the will to do it, right? And so real quick, I want to kind of get a 30-second speech from you, if you will. If somebody's looking to make that leap of faith, I love how you said that earlier because that's really what it is. If somebody's looking to make that leap of faith, man, what's the attitude, what's the mindset, and then what's the action that they need to do?
I like to tell everyone that asks me, first off, no sugarcoating. It's going to suck. It's going to suck really bad if you want to break the rat race or break, what everyone else is doing. If you want to do something different, it's going to suck. If you are okay with that and you're prepared for that, my second thing I would recommend, find a mentor. This dude's smart. I'm not saying I know all the answers, but I could see if I could help anyone else. Find someone that has already done it successful. If it takes money that you have to pay money to do it, you got to pay to play. You got to spend money to make money. I mean, it's all the different sayings you hear across the board. That's pretty much what I would do. Just be ready for it to suck before it gets good, and then find a mentor, invest in a mentor.
I think that's huge, man. I think that's just sound advice. Well, dude, I greatly appreciate you being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Fucking love the conversations. We talked about pretty much everything that matters to me, which is sweet. Well, guys, I'll tell you what, man. Go on Facebook, go on social medias, like Nitrous Motorsports, top notch, 10 out of 10's got my endorsement. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, whatever the fuck you do to the Be Better podcast. I'm going to have more interesting guys like Josh on, and Josh is obviously coming back. So thanks again, guys, for joining me for episode 10. You guys are the best.